It's not just at Adak-RMS where people are congregating for a Hololive event. At the base of Mount Fuji, it's also the case for a different shape and format. Good morning everyone for this year's Hololive Festival races, serving also as round 2 of Formula Hololive everyone. Welcome to the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji Speedway. And before we go any further into this intro, let's take a look into how Fuji Speedway looks. The track map for this amazing racetrack here in Japan, only about 150 kilometers away from Adak-RMS in Chiba. 4.56 kilometers of racetrack. Fuji Speedway will entail 16 corners in total. We're going to go for a lap count of 44 laps for 200 kilometers. That should be the case for all of the races here in the Capture the Moment Grand Prix weekend. We're looking at target lap time of 1:23.995, but sources may suggest that we might be in for an even faster lap. It's round 2 of Formula Hololive Japan Qualifiers. It's a special invitational round for all the in-cars participating. And as we mentioned before, it's the ARO races coinciding with the Fifth Fest. And also we have modified pit stop and international cars. So please take note into the rules that we'll be mentioning to you all later. And before that, let's take a look into how we do the rules here. Hopefully everyone's able to read in both languages. So, as we can see here, Formula Hololive International cars, both the EN and ID class, are ineligible for points in any of the 4 races this weekend, but they can take points positions away from JP class cars. This would mean that if an N class car takes second from a Hololive JP car, they will take the 175 points, and that will leave the JP class driver off with only 150, with them finishing third. If that is explainable enough. Ballasts are used for JP class cars to ensure a level playing field. It was 65 kilos last year. Now it's risen to 85 to allow for better opportunities for the in-class cars to win overall. Qualifying time reduced to 10 minutes. And also 1 pit stop expected for all races due to the shortened race distances for all races. But tire wear will remain the same. So we will expect a flat-out racing from start to finish with a bit of an occasional pit stop right here and there. Also, we may show you the championship standings after this race. Now, we may display in drivers' points tally, but we put them on negative on purpose so as to not interfere with the JP class points. Anyways, let's take a look into the Split A Spotter's Guide, as these will be the participants who will race today and will race momentarily. We got Lorenzo Ricci racing Porsche Marine, Johan Simple in his first time at Fuji Speedway. Michael Turner has raced here in Porsche Gaino last year. Blasco Dimashev also as well. Kaminari Riba has experience in Fuji. Fabio Mendes, though, it will be his first time representing Hakui Koyori in Formula Hololive at Fuji. Sean Pauli had his best finish of 4th place the last time he went to Fuji in Formula Hololive. Tyler Williams, also first time. Raijin, a Grizzly veteran, that's not the case for him. Ri Liu rounds out the JP class cars for Split A. He also will be racing here for the first time. We have Aziz Wazif, veteran in Formula Hololive International and in Aero in general. Dan Evans and Yuri Rafa de Oliveira will make their Fuji debuts for Irene 15 and Popularly Arena respectively. Takeda Adachi, Koirika Mendez will make their debut here in Fuji. Meanwhile, Kento Kai and Shango will return for the first time since 2023. And last but not least, let's take a look into the standings for both splits. We're mostly going to be focusing on Split A, on where some of these drivers end up. We have Lorenzo Ricci, of course, winning the previous race at Sepang in the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race. We also have Blasco Dimashev, Michael Turner, Riba, Kaczynski, Pauli, and we also have Ri Liu, Fabio Mendes, Tyler Williams, and Johan Simple. These should be the drivers that we'll be focusing for at the moment. So anyways, just wanted to tell everyone, welcome everyone to Fuji Speedway. We're about to get this qualifying session underway finally for the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split A race. I'm Mama Reza in the commentary booth, and alongside me is Zeke Wimberly, driver for the number 98 Sarasvana car, and driver for the number 99 Gargura car is Sean Go alongside me. So, Sean, I want to hear your opinions coming into the start of this qualifying session.
Well, I apologize for any audio quality in advance, but we are looking for a very, very long race weekend, totaling at around, like 4 hours or something. And I gotta be sitting in this boat for 4 hours. So overall, we are looking for a very excited weekend, at least this Friday. We also got races tomorrow too, and we're just start cheering for joy and all that. But more importantly, however, we are going into the race as we speak. We only have a 10-minute qualifier as we Mod has said, and we are really going to need to make those 10 minutes count in order to really get a leg ahead in this race.
Right, so Sean, it's your not exactly your first time at Fuji Speedway. Also, you've had experience here. What are your thoughts coming into this qualifying session?
Well, for obviously, we'll just hope that everyone gets their race properly and no mistakes were made in the former Buriram race that happened a few weeks ago. But overall, probably just enjoy the race and see who fights for the championship, I think.
So anyways, we're gonna go on board with one of the drivers here as we're about to start the lap. Sean, you have experiences in driving these cars in both the JP and in-class cars. Let's take a lap here in Fuji.
Right, so coming around here as we head up on the corner, full pedal to the metal. Let's try to get all the speed out from the engine, driving all on the very long straight, where most drivers might try to use the slipstream to probably get some overtake. Corner, also known as the dicey corner, you're gonna hit the brake at 100 marker. Just try to drive to the apex, not sliding around. Going a little bit to the inside, braking. Just tap a little bit on the brake and entering Coca-Cola corner. And now just changes to the 5th gear here at 100 R. Just try not to understeer out. You come into the hairpin, you're definitely gonna heavy braking over there. And you're coming back on the power as we enter 300 R and entering sector 3 from Dunlop corner here. A very technical corner here, as you can see a lot of tight corners. It's left, right, and most of the time you're not actually even going full throttle here. As we come into the next corner, the final corner before Panasonic, and you can just see them just try their best to go as easy as they can, or else they're gonna spin out. And finally entering Panasonic corner again, and there goes Michael Turner, just going full speed with that car in front of him, definitely gaining him some switching over.
Anyways, that should be Michael Turner's lap here in Fuji Speedway, as he only sets 4 fastest, 1:24.090, as we can see here. As we mentioned before, Tyler Williams has already beaten our lap time targets here by quite a margin here, by 7/10 of a second. And looking at the in-class cars like Sean Go already qualifying 3rd, on just behind the front row, this is gonna get pretty feisty.
It really is, and we already have people beating the target lap time by. Okay. Sean Pauly taking over Tyler Williams' spot, and just to add insult to injury, Demashnev also taking it. We already had a really great time set by Williams, just for it to get beaten barely to less than a 10th, well, not a 10th, but less than 100th of a. Am I doing my math right? I'm not good at math.
Well, okay, so right now we're looking at Sean Pauly also improving his time. As you mentioned, Tyler Williams already beaten by 600ths of a second here. Sean Pauly, as we've seen here, already has a faster first sector than anyone else, actually even improving his time. This is going to get interesting for Sean Pauly here as he crosses to the 2nd sector.
Alright, well, anyway, movement on the leaderboard already. We already have a very interesting qualifying going on as I'm speaking right now, with Williams taking back his rightful spot in 1st place away from Pauly with about 100th of a second, I believe, which is very, very impressive already. We already have fierce competition within this qualifying, and we're already halfway through it. So we are really seeing our drivers giving it their all this race here in Split A.
And looking at the timing towers here, Sean Pauly has retaken his place in provisional pole in that number 56 Inugami Korone car. Obviously, it's now a feisty battle between cars 56 and 57 for the top spot here in Fuji for the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split A race. And right now, looking into other drivers who might also be in contention, let's take a look into Vlasta Demashnev.
Master Demashnev here taking a very good angle entering that corner there. Quite fast. but is he gonna be able to break his lap time? I'm not sure.
Because right now we're taking a look into him already breaking into the Dunlop chicane here, and right now he's doing pretty okay as it stands here. He's about to cross the second sector time, and you can see here he's actually improved on his second sector as well. He is going to be in serious contention to qualify in pole position, and then also taking a look into Ri Liu jumping up into 4th place, and also Michael Turner up in 8th place as well. You can see here that the time, basically times just improve left, right, and center, and after Vlasa Damashnev, he has already gained a lot of time on that first and second sector. It doesn't seem that he's lost a lot of time in the final sector. Hell, it may be even faster. So he's going to cross the line here. It's still not going to be good. Now, he lost a good amount of time on that final sector. Valsa Damasha does have pace, but can he extract that last bit of it at the final sector to grab the pole position?
Well, looking at it... Oh, my bad. You can go.
There's only 3 minutes on the clock right now, so there's only like at least 2 laps, not including the in lap, 2 laps for them to try to get their lap times on the record.
Anyways, just wanted to remind everyone that this is the Split A race covering Stage 1. Stage 3 will not be hosted until Sunday at 11 a.m. Japan time. That is where Ethan Burleson racing for Nanashimumi. That is when they will be racing. So for all of you humans who may be watching the stream, we're expecting Nanashimumi's number 21 car to make an appearance. Right now, it's not going to be the case just yet. But for now, let's take a look into Vasa Damashnev. 52.211 for the Japanese registered driver, as he currently is in Nest coming into the final corner. Let's see if we can make some improvements in the final sector this time.
I know we're supposed to be paying attention to Damashnev right now, but I can't help but just look at Pauli's time and feel a little bit sad. 0.006, which is kind of embarrassing, honestly. You were barely...
Well, margins are margins in racing here. As you can see here, Vlasan Damashev still isn't able to capitalize on that final sector. And as you mentioned here, Sean Pauli has been showing some immense pace here in Fuji Speedway. Let's see if he's able to at least find that last bit of that last 0.6 of a second to try to steal Tyler Williams' pole time. I mean, Tyler Williams has already set the provisional pole time as we focus on Damashnev. So Tyler Williams also doing himself lots of favors for the Heyman.
Well, looking into the time for the qualifying right now, we are expecting around 1 to 2 more laps from our entrance, which could be a little bit of a crunch. Looking to be a 1:23.073, which is a very, very good lap time, but it's a 1:22 definitely isn't impossible. Like here we have a 1:23.470 by Tyler Williams. Not their best lap, but they're trying.
And looking at Sean Pauli here, he's now stuck behind lap cars. How about it, Sean?
Well, I was just gonna say Kendrick I was just pushing us one step down, but never mind. Lorenzo Ricci just pushed him down, and Michael Turner just advanced 1 position higher than Sean. Though definitely before the race, Michael Turner's been saying that he will definitely be able to beat Sean Go.
Anyways, looking into the bottom 7 right now, Dan Evans not having a lot of luck right now. He's currently down to 17th. Koirika Mendes has shown support from Takanashi Kiara and also the entirety of KFP. He's now down in 16th. Rafael de Oliveira now currently 15th. Fabio Mendes. Yesterday was Fabio Mendes' Oshi Hakui Koiri's birthday. But let's just hope that Fabio Mendes is able to turn around his season. Of course, he's only had a few points from last round at Sepang, so he might have something to fight for. As we're about to end this qualifying session, we also want to take a look into Takeda Adachi, Mwaziv currently 13th and 12th, Kento Kai in 11th, Lorenzo Ricci in the last 10 spot.
And looking, it's a pretty... Oh, I was about to say average, but they just came out of nowhere, just completely shafted Damashnev by only about, well, less than 1/10 of a second again, I guess. Dang, we have some serious fight in these I almost said fighters, that would have been corny. Racers.
Sinful just got into P2.
Which is a very big surprise there. Johan Sinful obviously showing good amounts of pace in that Matsuri number 7. Leaves it at the last minute to grab a front row spot, but still isn't enough to beat Tyler Williams. Of course, Tyler Williams has been seeing a lot of recent successes for Amane Kanata, as we got 2 cars left ready to finish their laps here. That's Tomasha and Kaczynski coming to the pits. That's the end of the qualifying session. Tyler Williams is your pole sitter.
Look at that, the top 3 qualifying, it's just go down to the thousands of a second of the gap.
Anyways, let's take a look into the starting lineup here for our first race of the weekend, the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split A race. Let's take a look at the starting lineup right now. Tyler Williams starts on pole position in the number 57 Amane Kanata Formula Hololive car with a 1:23.073 on alongside him. Margins couldn't get any closer than that for Johan Sinful, who starts second for Natsuri Matsuri, only 0.03 of a second behind. And talk about one of the closest qualifying sessions as far as the top 3 goes. Sean Pauli only qualifies on the second row, being only 0.06 of a second slower than Tyler Williams and only 0.03 of a second slower than Johan Sinful in that number 56 Coronet car. He will start third. Kamine Riba starts fourth for Shishiro Botan with a slightly bigger gap, this time 0.04 of a second. Demashnev fifth for Aki Rosenthal. He is doing pretty okay as well. He is only 0.05 of a second behind, so I expect the top 5 battle to be very, very competitive. Raja Kaczynski starts 6th for Yuzuki Choco, alongside Ray Liu 7th for Sakamata Chloe, and Michael Turner 8th for Shiro Gane Noel. Rounding out the top 10 will be the first of the in-class car. Takeda Adachi will start 9th alongside Shongo, representing Gagura, representing Ina and Gura respectively. Let's cover the final set of positions, you two.
Fabio Mendes repping the Hakui Koyori car. I used to rep that car. Oh my god, my generations, whatever. Next car. And shit, I forgot the car.
That's Valerio Ricci on 12, formerly of the top 3 winner, and that's Kendo Kai on the number 85 Aqua Spills car. Aziz Wanzev on the number 62 Ayuda Risu car. On the 15th place, we got Yuki Rafael on the Rainy car, and Rico Mendes on the 52nd Sierra car, the KFT guys is going to tell you about. Dan Evans on last place in the number 15. I don't know who that is, sorry.
This DRA 15 number 15 car currently last out of the 17 cars who are due to start here in Fuji Speedway. And as we've mentioned here, also we wanted to mention to you, it's a Pavodashi 8th row with you, Rafael de Oliveira and Koi Rica Mendes starting alongside each other. So anyway, before we get this race starting, I want to hear both of your thoughts before we start this race finally.
Well, for me, it's definitely a 5-horse race right there. With the pace I just saw in that qualifying, I think genuinely it's gonna go down to tire wear, because everyone was just so close in terms of pace. That's gonna be based off overcuts, undercuts, just overall tire wear. And honestly, with how close they got, I don't think positions are as meaningful. They still mean a lot, but they're not as meaningful as other races, which makes this a lot more interesting.
Sean.
And for me, I believe that it's not just only about the tire wear. Let's just hope that this time we get to see more fights throughout the race rather than just a little bit of contact here and there. And definitely, if we're gonna say who's the favorite for me right now, I believe Sean Paul is the favorite. See that he's down in the top 3 with always only 6,000 contracts on the left hand.
And
what about you guys?
Alright, so we're about to get this race finally underway. We are looking at one of the most competitive top 5s in qualifying in aero competitions, period. So I expect a very, very feisty competition right at the finish. And also with the strategy at hand, with the flat-out racing that we're about to see, we're going to be in for a great, great racing deal here in Fuji Speedway, as what you're going to be seeing at Adak-RMS for the Capture the Moment live concerts. We're going to do the same thing, but with race cars here in Fuji Speedway. We're about to get this race finally underway, and it will be Tyler Williams starting on the front row alongside Johan Sinful starting on the front row alongside Tyler Williams, the pole sitter for Amane Kanata. The Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji Split A race, it finally gets underway. 44 laps of racing, and as you can see here, that's a very, very good launch there from Tyler Williams here, coming into turn 1, and as you can see here, lots of jostling for position. There's already contact for the back. Oh, that's Raja Kaczynski already out of this race. right at turn 1, and that's also Michael Turner being collected as well. 15 cars still remain coming into Coca-Cola corner and 100R. It's Tyler Williams leading this race. Johan Siswell second, Riba third, Holly fourth, Vlasa Damashev fifth, Relio 6, Sean Gold now up into 7, Adachi 8th, Fabi Mendes 9th, and Kento Carranza the top 10. And we have confirmation that Michael Turner and Raja Kaczynski have suffered enough damage for them to officially retire from this race. But it looks like they're able to come back. They've teleported it back, but it looks like they're able to continue. What a crazy start to the race this has been.
A little bit of contact is what our other co-commentator got. With one car being knocked out of the race and a second car basically being knocked out of the race. Actually, no, I lied. Is that Kaczynski coming back on the field?
Yeah, he's coming back.
Kaczynski, he's gonna be about to be left soon since Williams just came out of the Panasonic corner there.
And
fastest lapped car in ARO history. Oh my god.
Anyways, we're looking at probably a 3-wide battle here, and as you can see here, it's Coy Rica Mendes and Yuri Rafael de Oliveira, and look at Aziz Mwazev having a very, very good slipstream right at the start-finish line. We're going to see immediately 3-wide action, although it's at the back, it's 3-wide action nonetheless. Who's going to win it?
It seems like Mendes is in a very tough position right now with being really sandwiched in the middle. Oh, what was that? Okay, that scared me a little bit from Dan Evans right there. He jostled around a little bit.
Going on to the outside, still trying to hang on it on the 3 wide. This is not Indy 500, guys. You're not supposed to go 3 wide on the corner. Mendes just got pushed slow down.
How did they manage to go 3 wide for about a third of that lap and still not crash out? That just shows you that these drivers are extremely skilled on the track. And as you can see here, Yuri Rafael de Oliveira is the winner of this bunch for now. He's currently beaten both of them, Coy Rica Mendes and Dan Evans there. What an amazing race we're already seeing, and we're not even 2 laps done in Fuji Speedway. Meanwhile, we're looking at the gaps right now. Tyler Williams is currently edging out a lead currently with a 4/10 of a second buffer over Johan Sinful. Coming at Ribas not far behind.
Well, whether they were lucky or...
Sorry, you go ahead.
Well, whether they were lucky or skill or stupid or all 3 above, we'll have. That's up to you to decide. But what's up to the drivers to decide, well, 2 of them anyway, is whether Sinful or Williams does take this race lead ahead right now. They are going side by side, but it does seem that Sinful has that slight edge against Williams right now, and they almost effortlessly take that position away.
And that's some great racing there to basically switch over some leaders here. So now Johan Sinful has a taste of the race lead, representing that Matsuri number 7 car for Natsuri Matsuri and the Matsurisu. And speaking of racing, let's take a look into the race field monitor on who will be pitting early and who will be pitting late. And please don't mind the fact that these cars still have 100 liters of fuel. It's actually half that. So Johan Sinful actually only has 15 liters. Tomasha only has 50 liters. And as you can see here, the drivers will be pitting quite early. We're looking at Johan Sinful and Fabio Mendes who will be coming into an undercut strategy. But I feel like the overcut strategy might be the more preferred option here.
That means they're probably trying to push very, very hard on the starting race, or on the starting skin of the race. Go in for pits for fuel and tire, and just try to keep their tires just good enough so that they can finish up the 44 laps of racing.
And speaking of the switch of drivers here, we are actually looking into some slight changes here. Don't mind that. It's just because of the slight glitch in the timing tower. That we don't really need to mind about that too much. It's still the status quo right from the start. Right from the start of lap 3. Meanwhile, Damashnev and Kaminari Riba are going to go side by side at Coca-Cola, and it's going to be Kaminari Riba winning. But will Damashnev try to hang on?
Damashnev has really been... Okay, I'm gonna go. Damashnev has really been falling off. Well, not necessarily falling off, but they did lose a position to Mendes right now, and I feel like it's kind of going through a downward spiral for Damashnev. They showed so much promise, so hopefully they can pull themselves up by the bootstraps and get back into the fight, and hopefully reclaim their lost position from Mendes.
And seeing now how everyone is about 1 second of the gap, but only the Marshnev is still in below the 1 second. So I believe when he comes out of the pass on the corner, he's definitely gonna have the chance to grab the slipstream and just fight for his life.
And currently the gaps have actually opened up for the drivers inside the top 5, but remember, some drivers are going to have to pit very, very soon. And as for Johan Sundfeld, as we mentioned earlier, he will pit in the next 5 laps. Sean Pauli isn't improving in his previous lap. Tons of other drivers are actually having a pretty good personal best lap times already. Meanwhile, if we're looking into race favorites right now, as you mentioned, Sean Pauli right now currently down in 4th place. Meanwhile, we all have Sinful currently leading, as you mentioned here about the undercut strategy. How do you think the undercut strategy can? Do you think the undercut strategy could work for Johan Sinful here?
Well, let's just say the undercut strategy is useful only if you can keep your tires long enough. So like, if you're not gonna be able to keep the tires long enough, then what for? Like, if he starts pushing very hard on those tires later on, he's definitely not gonna make it and probably start sliding around once he touches the curb.
Yes, and looking into just excuse me here as we're about to take a look into Dan Evans currently in 14th place, trying to go behind Yuri Rafael de Oliveira here. As we mentioned here, there was a 3-wide battle between both Wasif, De Oliveira and Evans, if I'm not mistaken, or was that De Oliveira, Evans, and Mendes? But whatever the case is there, right now the racing has definitely calmed down from the first 2 laps. But meanwhile, we have Riba and Pauly are currently setting their own personal best lap times. They might be able to catch the top 2 right now, who are currently controlling this race, with Williams already having a 3.3 second gap over Kaminai Riba in 3rd.
God, this timetable is throwing me off. But back to the undercut, overcut thing, because I had something to say, but I couldn't say it because with Sinful, he is gaining a severe lead right now on Williams, because I believe that was like 2 and then 6/10 of a second, you know, whatever. It's increased to about 3 and 3.6 seconds, whatever. So I'd say just keep on going, keep on trucking, get that gap up. Once you start slipping, pit, then dominate the rest of the race. Because I don't think an undercut would be doing this advantage really well, in my opinion.
And right now, looking into the in-class battle here, Chongo currently leads the field, representing Gao Gura in car number 99. Obviously, Chongo currently showcasing a lot of potential here, especially since the Bororam Super Prix, where he was actually showing some very, very good pace for himself, representing the Chumbuts. Obviously, he did miss out on a win by Zeke Wimberley overtake right at the end, so obviously that has got to sting for him. But Chongo currently in a battle against 6 other drivers in his own class. He must have something to fight for.
Definitely have something to fight for, considering how he missed out the top 3 positions at, the P1 position at last time around at Buriram. Very unlucky. Yeah.
Anyways, looking into the okay, just excuse me, just wanted to also look back into Fabio Mendes trying to catch Sean Pauli. This might be a battle that we might be paying attention to for, at least in the JP class, as he's currently only 5/10 of a second behind Sean Pauli. I think he is only slightly faster than Sean Pauli there.
Well, with Sean Pauli, well, as we said before, Sean Pauli is definitely probably a fan favorite. I've personally been rooting for Sinful since the race began, because they kind of sprung out from nowhere during the qualifying, snagged 1st place, and then they've stuck with it, especially with these gaps getting wider and wider between, Sinful and Williams. So yeah, overall, Sinful is in for a leisurely stroll at the moment, at least until I believe lapped cars are introduced, because with the Kaczynski and Turner incident back then, it's gonna be very hard.
Anyways,
to stay clear of the lap cars.
Anyway, there might be a battle here, as we mentioned here. Fabio Mendes now going down the inside of Sean Pauli, coming into turn 1. Fabio Mendes on the number 54 Koyori car, having a lot of energy, especially since last night, where Koyori hosted her birthday concert. literally the day before the fifth fest. As you can see here, Fabio Mendes trying to hang around the outside at Coca-Cola corner. Fabio Mendes trying to put Sean Pauli in his place, trying to keep Sean Pauli at bay, and it looks like Fabio Mendes is doing very well for the Hakui number 54 car. The assistants have got to be very excited about this.
Well, to say the least, I'm surprised Mendes is performing so well, because I'd be assuming they'd be drunk on sake and mayonnaise, but whatever, they're still sober enough to drive, and drive well they are, as they slowly inch that gap closer and closer to Riba to hopefully take a bronze podium slot.
Well, currently, as we've also mentioned here, as you mentioned, Z, Sinful already having a 6-second gap. As you may say, he might have a stroll in this race, but remember, he has to pit in the next lap or two. So currently, this will be his in lap. So let's see how much Johan Sinful can eke out a gap against the rest of the field.
He's definitely trying to push very hard there.
Anyways, continue.
Yeah, and with the 122s that Sinful is setting right now, it is, and Williams only setting about a 124, that it is definitely plausible that Sinful could make this, the next lap or two count, which can rack up to, I'd say, a 9-second gap if he plays his cards correctly.
And just...
he's possible harder on the tires now.
Just want to remind everyone, Johan Sinful and Fabio Mendes has been called into the pits here. Their basically fuel cells have already gone very low here. Fuel is running out for these two drivers currently in first and fourth place. Sinful and Mendes will have to give up their positions right now, and Tyler Williams will reassume his race lead soon. As if Sinful actually does pit in the next in this lap, on which he should, otherwise he will run out of fuel and not finish this race. Anyways, here's Johan Sinful still currently leading. He is confirmed. He's peeling into the pits.
Well, with Sinful, peeling into the pits, we will be seeing Williams charging forward, hopefully trying to make use of Sinful's pit time to really try to get that gap, just get as much of a gap as possible. We're already seeing Mendes in the pits as well. It is a race to see who can get out first, which I'm pretty sure will be Sinful, but we'll see.
Especially with Sinful with that 6-second gap earlier, all he needs now is a very good pit, refuel faster, change his tires faster, and he's definitely gonna still be in, I'd say, probably the top 10.
Yeah, Sinful is definitely... He's definitely gonna make top 10 though, I'm pretty sure. Because with Sinful, everyone's gonna have to peel into the pits eventually, and that's where the, I believe, undercut strategy really shines, because basically you're just trying to make up lost time when everyone else pits.
Well, yeah.
Sinful, I think, should definitely charge forward. I think they should really play somewhat cautiously as to not be downright reckless.
And speaking of recklessness, let's take a look into Dan Evans. There's as Wase trying to go down the inside of Lorenzo Ricci there, excuse me, as Wase was trying to find a way past Lorenzo Ricci for 9th place. Meanwhile, the first drivers have already pitted, and it is confirmed Johan Sinful and Fabio Mendes already has built enough of a gap against Michael Turner and Raja Kaczynski to basically stay ahead of the two. Just a reminder, Turner and Kaczynski was involved in that lap 1, turn 1 collision, as we might be seeing more pit lane activity soon. As we're taking a look into the tire, or was that the fuel consumption monitor, the race fuel monitor, I fear that Johan Sinful is actually gonna, I think, miscalculated his fuel load. Actually, just wanted to check that it is not enough. There's not enough fuel in him to basically run until the end. He'll have to pit again. And as for Fabio Mendes, on the other hand, that's also going to be the case for him. It may be the case that these two have pitted way too early.
Indeed, as I was just now going to say, there's 34 laps going on, currently now 33 laps. So like, how is he gonna hold on with that fuel? I'm not very sure, unless he drives very carefully.
Nah, he would have won. He would have won, like, regardless. I'm pretty sure that's just a fluke in our logic, because Sinful is gonna take home the win. Obviously, they're gonna shoot up what, 13 positions to first place. It's going to be a cakewalk for Sinful.
Meanwhile, we're going to be taking a look into Dan Evans here. Dan Evans has been showing a lackluster pace. He did start at the back, and after the collision between Turner and Kaczynski, he was in 15th, but he's showing a lot of race pace for someone representing Irony in 15. And as we and just wanted to give a bit of a clarification about Dan Evans, he prefers racing those good old tin pot cars, the touring cars from the 1970s in hilly racetrack like Bathurst in Australia. So he knows what it means to basically race on the raggedy edge with a 3-wide situation.
Okay, that's interesting information, but what else is interesting is we kind of have a bit of a, well, I wouldn't say pile-up, but just a clean racing line in the middle, as it usually is, with like Mazif all the way to Adachi, so it's looking pretty clean so far.
You're definitely gonna try to use the 15 strategy to try to save your fuel a little bit, but as far as I'm concerned, that's usually only works in races like IndyCars and NASCAR, so I don't know, let's see if the slipstream trick will work in saving fuel.
Oh, we might be seeing a side-by-side battle here. As you can see here, Aziz Moazev again tried to dive bomb Lorenzo Ricci here. And as you can see here, it's only daytime and it's only like, I believe it's only like 13 degrees Celsius ambient temperatures, which should translate to around 59, 60, 61 degrees Fahrenheit. And for the track temperatures, it may be around only 20. But as you can see here, we might be seeing more pit activity, but it's just a timing tower being bored. But as you can see here, for the drivers trying to warm up the tires, it's going to be pretty difficult because there's not much temperature on the track, so tires are not going to be easily warm. And as you can see also on Aziz Moazev's car, I think there's a bit of graining on the front tires because there's not enough temperature on the tires. Meanwhile, we also have Dan Evans trying to think of a move against Aziz Moazev there down the inside of turn 1, but he knows that he doesn't have too much of a gap to probably get the overtake done, so it has to back off.
Everyone just kind of backing off as one terrible dive bomb could basically make you lose a position, maybe even 2 positions if the mistake was grave enough. And speaking of grave mistakes, I would like to point out the fact that Mendez, who is running the Koyori car, is right now at about a 7-second gap between them and Sinful, which is kind of, they might have messed up there, I'm not gonna lie.
I just want to check on Johan Sinful, currently in 14th place, trying to beat out Corey Rico Mendez. Remember, there are 2 guys with the same sounding surname here. Remember, Corey Rico Mendez races for Takanashi Kiara. Fabio Mendez races for Haku Ikori. Both race on different classes here. Meanwhile, as you can see here, trying to go around the outside there, Johan Sinful at Net's corner here. He's going to go the long way around. He's going to make the overtake done right at the inside at Panasonic corner. What a great overtake that was from Johan Sinful. Granted, they have a good amount of pace difference, but that's a very good overtake nonetheless. Go around the outside at Net's corner. That isn't even a properly designated attack zone, but look at Corey Rico Mendez trying to fight back Johan Sinful right at the start-finish line. This is going to get interesting.
Using that side slipstream there, he's definitely gonna go for it. Braking on the apex there, he's gonna hang it. Looks like he's down, but let's just hope he can start attacking Andy Coca-Cola corner as they're about to head in right now. Getting into Coca-Cola corner, Johan Sinful just trying to close off the apex there.
It's just looking really, really bad for Sinful right now, with just Mendez, the Takanashi Kiara one, by the way, just trying their best right now. And speaking of trying their best, we have the whole mid-pack right here that's kind of sandwiched between each other like a pack of sardines. The average gap time between them, I believe, is like only like about 4 or 5 tenths of a second. So one move could result in just a ton of overtakes, so that it is a very volatile middle at the moment.
And currently looking into Aziz Moazev, trying to find a way past Lorenzo Ricci here. Moazev knows he's got a very, very fast car in that number 62 Hyundai Risu car. And while the race currently gets underway here, remember, this is the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji. This is the Split A race. This race coincides with stage 1 of the Capture the Moment live concert, which will be hosted in about 4 to 5 hours time. And if you want to have your hand on the streaming QR code, you can scan the QR code at the bottom left to get your tickets to the Fifth Fest, at least the streaming side. And if you're in Japan, you can also buy physical tickets, but that's going to be a big if. And remember, you can do it with the QR code and the bottom left. And also, as a reminder, we are not sponsored by Hololive. This is just us trying to promote this event in goodwill.
Here we now on board with Adak-RMS here, trying to calm down Ricci as they come into the Dunlop chicanes, or Dunlop corners, sorry. Very, very tight racing there. You can see all Lorenzo Ricci, Adak-RMS, and Evans there, just only under 1 second of a gap there.
And also, we just wanted to mention to you, look at the tire wear on the international cars. And also, just wanted to compare with the JP cars. Look at the tire wear that all these drivers are experiencing due to graining here already. You can see here, the front rides are already worn on both the JP and N cars. So even with, let's say, the tire wear being normal, due to the nature of Fuji Speedway being very, very quick and having good amount of high-speed corners, this will basically test their tires and their pace.
Well, we can
normal. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, we can already see just the pure, unadulterated, just cutting the lap, well, not cutting, but extending the lap time by like at least a solid, I think, 2 seconds now. We're seeing 124s, 125s, just a whole lot of, and this is all from the tires, and we're only 16 laps in, so it's only going to get worse from here if the people don't pit.
And looking into the pit lane situation here, Johan Sinful only has 3 laps of fuel to go. And looking at Dan Evans, he only has 2 laps of fuel to go. Pit stop activities will resume later on. Speaking of which, there's a bit of a side-by-side battle between Dan Evans and Adak-RMS. Evans is showing a lot of potential in that number 15 Irony 15 car. He is absolutely gunning for a few more positions.
Yeah, okay, yeah, Evans just really gunning for the position, especially after a relatively lackluster, qualifying, and to see Evans kind of pulling out of nowhere, just, like a wolf among sheep, basically, just trying to murk as many positions as possible. It is kind of endearing to see.
And speaking of which, Adak-RMS trying to make the pass on Lorenzo Ricci for 9th place here. Adak-RMS going to shuffle Ricci off into the outside of turn 2, but it will be the inside line for Ricci at turn 3. Will Ricci try to hang on? No, it is the answer. Adak-RMS is now up into 9th, but also take a look into the basically the progress charts.
Simple down 11 positions, Kaczynski down 11 positions, with Kaczynski arguably being our biggest loser of tonight so far. We're dropping down 11 positions on turn 1, which is just deeply unfortunate.
But speaking of which, at the very least, he's still in the race.
I thought he crashed out, honestly. But overall, our biggest gainer so far has got to be Evans, gaining a total of about 6 positions. I believe there was another person who gained 6 positions, but I can't name him off the top of my head.
Anyways, speaking of which, let's take a look into Kaminari Riba and Sean Pauly, and just wanted to get a bit of a just want to have a bit of a confirmation. Sean Go has basically passed out from the commentary booth, so that's gonna be a bit of a stinks, as I'm gonna have to cover a bit more than I should be. Meanwhile, we have more drivers coming into the pits as we predicted. Dan Evans not having enough fuel. He's gonna go try to basically have a shake-up in strategy here. He's not peeled into the pits here. Meanwhile, there's a bit of a side-by-side battle between that's Corey Rico Mendez and Fabio Mendez here. 2 guys with an almost similar surname, and it looks to me that the Koyori car will be the victor for this one.
Which kind of makes sense. It's the pink one, the Koyori Mendez, Koyori, not Corey Rico. Koyori Mendez just has fresher tires overall, which will help the lap pace hopefully a little bit. I'm hoping just get as many lost positions as possible before they have to pit again.
And right now, Sinful is gonna be looking into 4 more positions. They're now only separated by about 3 seconds there. That's Yuri Rafa de Oliveira in 11th, Richie 10th, Adachi 9th, and looks like Aziz Muazev is still within it. Yes, that's Aziz Muazev currently in 8th. Sinful will have a chance to get up into 8th if he can play his cards right.
And I wouldn't say, speaking of going into 8th, nope, that's the timetables being wacky again. Oh, but Sinful is still gunning for as many lost positions as possible, going from 1st to 12th in the matter of just a bad timed pit. And they're probably gonna have to pit again. Yep, are they peeling into the pit lane?
Yes, there is Johan Sinful in the pits right now, and looking into other drivers who might be following him. That's also Fabio Mendes. He's also coming into the pits as well, as we are looking into both drivers who have pitted very, very early in this race coming into the pits yet again. They've miscalculated their fuel loads, and you have to feel for Johan Sinful here. He has the best pace of his. He's got a lot of pace in the early stages of the race. He was controlling the race lead, and now to have him go down like this. But and let's see if he has a better fortunes here. And as you can see here, the fortunes are still not there. Look at Johan Sinful already pitting once again. So, and it's not going to be enough. He'll have to pit once again. He might go for a crazy 3-stop strategy.
Okay, this isn't even a strategy. That can't be real.
I mean, in a sense, yes, but here you can see Dan Evans, who have already made a pit stop. He is battling Sean Pauli. Evans, of course, does not want to go further a lap down than he already is. And Sean Pauli wanting to put this issue down to bed. That is Sean Pauli already clearing Dan Evans, who is now a lap down against 3 cars.
We're just seeing trolling and then competence. It's all very, very weird race. So far, with a weird timetable that makes me feel like positions are moving like crazy when they're not, but...
Anyways, we might be looking into even more battles left, right, and center. Here you can see here Lorenzo Ricci now trying to find a way past Takeda Adachi. Of course, he has been overtaken by Takeda Adachi. So Lorenzo Ricci, our existing race winner who have won the Sepang Grand Prix Split A race, is currently struggling in terms of pace to try to even catch up to even the Int class cars, who are arguably haven't been at their best right now. But still, that's gotta hurt for Ricci.
It has gotta, definitely, with just a lot of movement. I think Mazev also is a very notable member in this little middle pack there, currently in 8th place. I believe they were in 11th one, so a bunch of well-timed battles to get Mazev ahead, with Adachi also being a prime member of the middle pack. And is that Sean Pauli? Sean Pauli going into the pits.
And looking into the strategy here, it's going to shake up quite the amount. As you can see here, Lorenzo Ricci, Ria Liu, and Aziz Muazev have also been confirmed to wheel into the pits right now. As you can see here, that looks like 3 to 4 drivers already coming to the pits. And I think there's a 5th driver also coming in. We can't really tell who that one is right now, but it looks to me that I think it's still just 4. Yeah, and it looks to me that Sean Pauli will have a very, very quick pit out. He should be okay.
Pauli is both, I'd argue, fortunate and unfortunate at the same time, being stuck kind of right in the... Well, actually, no, they're doing quite fine right now. I guess I misjudged. A lot of people from the middle pack just pitted, so it is actually quite clear weather for Pauli right now, both literally and figuratively.
And just wanted to check on the current status at the front here. It's still Tyler Williams, Kaminari Riba, and Vlasa Damashev dictating the play at the front. Meanwhile, we are also going to be speaking of which, Tyler Williams and Kaminari Riba are currently being called into the pits right now. Here's Tyler Williams coming in. The same goes for Riba. Right now, we're going to be looking at Sean Pauli's gap right now.
Pauli's gap right now is about 6 seconds or so against the Oliveira. So they still have a bit of time to make up, but surely they can make it up once they hopefully warm up those tires, which probably won't happen, but you never know.
And speaking of, you might never know, Sean Pauli already coming across the final corner here. Tyler Williams is still stationary. Kaminari Riba stationary. They will go for the one stop. Tyler Williams has already exited there. There may be slight contact onto the pit wall there, but I don't think there will be any issues. Here's Sean Pauli still at the main straight. I think the overcut strategy has been working very finely if you are Tyler Williams or Kaminari Riba, because look at these two. They've already exited ahead of Sean Pauli.
Yeah, it seems that they have had very fortunate pit stops, unlike some person I don't think that needs to even be named right now. But with Williams will inherit the race lead when everyone eventually pits.
Alright, and looking into the leading driver in the Int class right now, Sean Go currently in second place for Gaogura. He's currently in the form of his life right now for the Chumbuds after, as we mentioned, he had a career for Minato Aqua in the 2023 Formula Hololive Japan season, alongside Hololive GT3, of course. And of course, he has seen some bright spots for Minato Aqua. He did score that one pole position in the Motegi 400 race in Hololive GT3. But as far as Formula Hololive goes, that hasn't been really much of a fortunate case for Sean Go, as he currently goes onto the main straight. But as we mentioned here, he has been showing quite the skill to perform for Gaogura. Of course, as we mentioned here, he's not been at his best, especially in the first half, but he is piling on the pressure in the second half of the Formula Hololive International season. And in this race too, he's currently comfortably in second. Remember, Damashnev, Go, Kai, Adachi, and De Oliveira, they have yet to pit.
Well, it is nice to see Go finally, win something. Just giving you some flashbacks, but what is more important, at least to me at the moment, first of all, is the De Oliveira Adachi little scuffle that's going on, which De Oliveira did manage to beat him at, but Damashnev has a 12-second gap ahead of Go right now, which they could probably decently expand right now once they get past that lap car up. I believe that's Evans, right?
That's Evans currently in front, and currently Damashnev currently trying to find a way past the lap car so that he doesn't lose any more time than he does. Remember, he is currently in the battle for the race lead, but as you can see here, this 1.5 kilometer long straight might do Damashnev some favors here. He's gonna go down the inside of the Australian here, coming into turn 1 here. Damashnev tries to clear Evans there, but Evans is not going to give Damashnev any room, and you can see here, it actually might push him around the outside. As you can see here, Damashnev does very well to clear the lap car at Coca-Cola corner, and it's now Damashnev still in the race lead. And speaking of which, we might be seeing some battles, but it's just a timing tower being the timing tower as it is in Fuji Speedway, so excuse that. Anyways, looking into the rest of the field here, Fabio Mendes here trying to catch Lorenzo Ricci, and just wanted to get a bit of a pit stop infographic right here.
And here we see all the pit stops, because it's a pit stop infographic. Everyone in the top 5 has yet to pit, with Williams having one stop, Riba having one stop, and Pauli having one stop, which will inherit first, second, and third respectively. And we will also have Sinful and Mendez, who have pitted twice and are destined to pit a third time, I believe. And speaking of Mendez, the Koyori one anyway, they are fighting side by side by Ricci right now, although it does seem that Mendez
close.
has the slight edge right now, but it was very, very close. They could have fumbled hard there.
Anyways,
it seems like Mendez is going to pull this through.
Yes, Fabio Mendes currently making a very good move to attack Lorenzo Ricci. Of course, he hasn't been showing his best right now, despite both of them actually performing together alongside in last night's live, where both Koyori and Marine performed alongside each other in a dual member showcase. But as for Ricci right now, have won. And speaking of which, I just wanted to share the coincidence here as the Oliveira comes into the pits. Fabio Mendes won the Sepang Grand Prix last year in Split A, and Lorenzo Ricci won the Sepang Grand Prix last year in Split B as well. So we're talking about the 2 Sepang Grand Prix winners from last year currently in the back half of the grid.
It is very, very embarrassing right now. We kind of had like a whole shake-up of the leaderboard right now. This is not actually what I expected, but it is pleasant to say the least. But right now we do have no real battles surging 780 and Sinful that are really brewing right now.
And currently looking into Riba, of course, already pitted with Williams and Pauly. Here's Damashev already coming into the pit stops. And based on the gas that we're seeing right now, Damashev may not have a chance to basically battle out on the race lead here. But Damashev is going to try anyway to come into the pits and see if he can lose less time on the pits by fueling the car as low as he can to at least make it to the finish line. As you can see, already 25 laps complete, or was that 26 laps 25 laps complete here in Fuji. And as you can see here, Damashev is still stationary. Tyler Williams has already crossed the line. It's going to be Tyler Williams who's going to be inheriting this net race lead right now.
Yeah, but I wouldn't count Damashev out of the equation right now, as some random BS could happen, and Damashev could suffer right now. But Damashev does get a good position out of the pits, I believe 6th place, with a 1 second gap between them and Riba, so I wouldn't count him out.
Also, I think we've noticed here that Kento Kai has also come into the pits, or maybe we're missing some information here. Because looking into Kento Kai, it looks to me that he has already pitted, so he should be in for a very good position inside our top 10, maybe challenging for a top 5 if circumstances permit. But you can see it is Bay number 85, of course. Hakos Bills did perform in her own birthday live in February 29th. Of course, 2024 is one of those 4 years where you will have the leap year, where you have the leap day, February 29th, come around. And obviously, Kento Kai has been enjoying a pretty good run of form as of late, too.
Yeah. Kento Kai is just basically a very consistent driver. They don't really get very flashy with their driving though, but they are a very consistent driver. Can I not say consistent? They usually make top 10 pretty much most races actually. So overall, just a formidable driver to watch, spectate, commentate on, all of that.
Anyways, looking into the current situation here inside the battle for the top 4 here. The battle for the top 4 is actually still brewing here. Looking at Tyler Williams and Sean Pauly, the gap between the net top 2, which is Tyler Williams and Sean Pauly, representing, of course, Amane Kanata, the strong-armed angel who fell down for some reason, and Sean Pauly representing the Baker dog VTuber, that is Inugami Korone. They are currently separated by only 0.7 of a second as Michael Turner finally comes into the pits as well. And as you can see here, Takeda Adachi is not a lap car, but he has yet to pit. So Takeda Adachi might be the key on who will be taking this race lead. Which of these two drivers will be using Takeda Adachi as a pick to try to mug off the other driver for the race lead?
Well, right now, Williams is playing this annoyingly passive, which is kind of giving Pauly a slight edge at the moment, which is... Oh, and speaking of edge, well, this isn't even a speaking of moment, but Go has entered the pits right now, which means that after Adachi pits, Williams will inherit the race lead.
And Sean Pauly has actually a lower rear wing, which means he has a car more suited for this long straight here, and it shows. Sean Pauly now comes down to the inside to challenge Tyler Williams here into turn 1 here. The Inugami Korone car has not led at Fuji Speedway in any of the aero competitions, I believe, since the 2022 Fuji summer races. And you can see here, Pauly's gonna really make the move down the outside of Coca-Cola corner, and now in a 100R, Pauly makes the move stick, but he still has to clear Takeda Adachi if he wants to really cement his place in the race lead.
Yo, can you guys guess who entered the pits again? Yep, Sinful and his partner, the Koyori Mendez, basically, for the 3rd time this race on lap 28.
Well, that's gotta sting. That has got to sting for the two, unfortunately, and especially for Johan Sinful. It would have been a 5-horse race for the race lead, but unfortunately, this pit stop error has absolutely costed Sinful and Mendes very, very hardly, and well, not exactly hard, but very, very dearly here. And as you can see here, Adachi causing a lot of problems here against Sean Pauli, and now Tyler Williams is gonna try again to try to attack Sean Pauli here. Pauli actually was blocked by Adachi at that final corner, and now you can see both the 56 and the 57 gonna go toe-to-toe coming into turn 1.
Yeah, it is gonna be very interesting to see Williams taking a slight corner over there, but Pauli does manage to get a nose up, and almost, I wouldn't say effortlessly, but with it was decently intense, but Pauli still managed to get on top. But Williams is not done yet, I believe. But
he's not.
You know, he's just started. Riba has just hopefully started her their attack on Williams with about 5/10 to 3/10, whatever.
Anyways, it's now a 3-horse race for basically a position here with Tyler Williams and Sean Pauli battling between each other, still being stuck behind Takeda Adachi. Look at Takeda Adachi, by the way. Adachi will only have 3 laps of field to go, so he will be pitting on around laps 31 to 32. So at this point, the battle for the top 3 is going to become a battle for the top 4, because look at Vladislav Domashnev also coming into the mix.
That's what I was saying. Vladislav Domashnev should not have been counted out in this little race lead thingy-majigger. But yeah, Domashnev currently bolting down the straight right now, hopefully trying to catch up to Riba, and Williams is catching up to Pauli at a very alarming degree right now, where 126 lap time shows how hard those tires have been pushed. But Williams is hoping to push Pauli out of second place.
Oh, 3 wide!
Their own. Oh, they should not go 3 wide.
And right.
Williams to get the better exchange of that, with Riba and Pauli still kind of going neck and neck right now.
Oh, and you can see here, that's a great move there by Riba to go down the outside of Coca-Cola corner to basically use the opportunity to go 3 wide to get himself into second place. And now, in this continuous battle for this race lead, the 4-horse race just continues to deliver. The Capture the Moment Grand Prix has delivered its promise on providing us with a very, very exciting race up to this point. And now you can see there was a 3 wide battle again coming into turn 1. This time it's a battle for the race lead between Williams, Riba, and Pauli. Remember, as you mentioned here, Domashnev should not be counted out in this battle, and now you can see here Domashnev is really going to try to get close once again. There might be a 4 wide battle, as by the way, we haven't seen 4 wide since the March 2022 in the Link Your Wish races, so we might be seeing something here.
And in these cars, nonetheless, that's going to be very, very hard to hold on right now. We have a decently eloquent line that Riba is trying to break right now while trying to catch up to Williams right now. We have 125s basically across the board right now for the drivers that have pitted. Mendez, the Chiara one, is going into the pits, but right now Riba and Williams are fighting.
And right now they are fighting still, and then you can see here, or rather it's Sean Pauli and Tyler Williams there, and as you can see here, Riba has absolutely taken this race lead sublimely. As you can see here, there was a tussle between Williams and Riba, and of course Riba was shuffled off enough for Sean Pauli to basically take the gap and the opportunity for him to go into second place. And right now, the situation inside the top 4 is basically a yo-yo for the top 3, except Domashnev, who is still looking for an opportunity to make any passes.
With how tight the cars are packed, though, it is going to be really hard for them to, find a landing space for Domashnev after that attack. Although they are still looking for it right now, with them slowly inching closer to Williams, like a predator, stalking his prey, all of that. Jeffrey Epstein with, little kids, basically just waiting for the right moment.
And speaking of right moments here, Riba is trying to find the right moment against Adachi, and now finally Adachi comes into the pits. That does not mean that the racing action has absolutely waned down. You can see here, Sean Pauli weaves around the track to find some space, but there is no space to be found. And now Sean Pauli is going to be under pressure from Vladislav Domashnev. There's going to be a massive battle here. And look at Sean Goh also joining in the mix in the number 99 Gura car. It's now a 5-horse race for the race lead.
This is so dumb, oh my god. But what's dumber? Domashnev just hit a serious punch on Polly right there, but I lied actually. What is going on?
What is going on? That does not really matter. We're seeing some great racing and respectable racing almost. Well, for the most part, between all of these drivers, and now with Takeda Adachi being out of the equation. Speaking of which, Adachi has now exited back in 10th place. You can see here Damashnev using the opportunity to try to get himself into the podium positions here. Sean Paul is going to get shafted if he's not careful. Kamina Riba has not been in a position for the race lead since the Takachi Super Prix in the Split A race in 2023. Meanwhile, there might be some overtakes at Nets. That's not the place. We might be seeing some overtakes. Damashnev straddled the sausage curbs. He's going to lose out a bit to Sean Go. Sean Go obviously having slightly fresher tires than the other JP class cars. He is now in the mix to at least contend for the podium here in Fuji.
Although it is kind of not looking... I lied actually. It is kind of looking like it. Damashnev hit a 127, which is not a good time to set, but I'll give him some leeway because, you know, the tires are probably begging for mercy at this point.
Yes, and currently Shango wanting to have the better on Damashnev. That's a very good exit off of turn 1 coming to Coca-Cola, and as you can see here, Go really trying to push around the outside of Damashnev. You can see it's still side-by-side action at 100R, but unfortunately, the Formula Hala Japan cars have better grip in the corners, but where the int cars can shine is the straightaway. And just a bit of an information here, there's only 600 horsepower in the JP class cars, and on all int cars it's 650 instead. But as a trade-off, naturally these int class cars have more weight than their JP class counterparts.
It's a lot. There's a lot of physics and like aerodynamics, but basically the JP cards are a lot, you know, a lot more flexible, a lot more versatile. They're better on corners and all that. While, you know, the one with 650 horsepower, all of that, they are much better on the straights.
And speaking of better on the straight here, we have Sean Go trying to find any opportunity to get himself up front. Meanwhile, we might be seeing a bit of a battle here at the back that looks like Yuri Rafael de Oliveira and Lorenzo Ricci here. But don't want to count the midfield battles out for now, as we also wanted to focus on the drivers at the back. Meanwhile, looking at Sinful and Fabio Mendez currently down in 15th and 16th. As you mentioned, it hurts especially for Sinful. Well, we're talking about the two, by the way. As you can see here, there might be a bit of a battle here, but it's mostly just a shake-up in the timing tower. Damn you, timing tower. Anyways, Lorenzo Ricci tried to catch Yuri Rafael de Oliveira, but it's not coming to fruition for Ricci.
Yeah, Ricci has kind of been a bit of a punching bag as of recent, especially for de Oliveira and all that. And with Adachi recently have been recently pitted and all that, Adachi might take back a positioning break evening, but I guess I was over exaggerating Ricci because they've actually been up 3 positions, but that's kind of because Kuzinski and Sinful and all that, they kind of threw.
And speaking of improvements here, let's take a look into the progress chart. The biggest gainer, of course, is Yuri Rafael de Oliveira. And now you can see here, there is no change at the front yet. That's just the timing tower being crazy again. Yuri Rafael de Oliveira, of course, being the biggest gainer so far in this Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split A race for Pavolia Rene. Look at the amount gained, the amount of positions gained. He started 15 and he's now up into, just wanted to reshuffle the grid order here. He's now up into 8th place, so he's gained 7 positions from where he started. Also Dan Evans too, we also want to give him a bit of commendation for wanting to push given his circumstances.
Yeah, it's all just kind of endearing to see with some, you know, backseat legends and all of that, but paying attention to the front, it's actually gone pretty quiet. Williams about almost a second behind Riba, with Pauly being a full second, Damashnev being a full 2 seconds while under pressure from Go, but even that's starting to fade. We are in for a somewhat lax race looking into these final, well, less than 10 laps.
But they might not be over just yet. Look at where Raja Kaczynski and Fabio Mendes is right now. Both of them in the final two positions. They're only around a few seconds ahead of the leaders. So the possibility of the leaders catching these lap cars is still very much a possibility. Speaking of which, Kento Kai isn't having a very chaotic race, at least for his standards. I mean, he's doing very well. He's just having a very quiet race. He's now up into 6th.
Like I said, Kai is a very, very, I wouldn't say average, but a very quiet driver, at least to me. They don't get flashy, they try not to be flashy, and they get like 7th place out of 20, which is still technically better than average. So, Kai overall, very formidable, but very, very quiet.
And looking into the current situations here at the front, of course, the gaps between the top 3 have now opened to nearly 2 seconds here. Meanwhile, we have Damashnev trying to still steer clear of Shango. Looking into Tyler Williams and Kamna Riba, they will be set to score their first podiums in 2024, as does Sean Pauli. For Tyler Williams and Sean Pauli, it will be their debut podium finishes, I believe, in Formula Hololive. Of course, Kamna Riba was inside the podium in that Ducati Super Prix Split A race when he was battling with Shazrin Reza. But of course, he hasn't tasted victory in that number 43 Shishiro Botan car. It will be the case for Riba if he's able to maintain his spot in the race lead. If Riba can hang on this race lead, he will give Shishiro Botan her first win since around mid to late 2022. So of course, more long waits becoming over with each of these new drivers coming in to win.
Being honest, I have never seen the Botan car, I think, do this well in, like, I think my year of being in the ARO. So seeing Botan finally, or whoever the SSRB, I hope I said that right, finally, you know, get some pleasure in watching their person racing for their Oshi finally, you know, win something. That's gotta be super awesome.
Well, for all of you Italian viewers out there, you've heard Il Canto degli Italiani, which is basically the Italian national anthem, played for Lorenzo Ricci. But of course, Lorenzo Ricci is what we should say mixed blood. But if you want to find a true-blooded Italian, no further than Caminera Riba. He is basically an Italian in and out from what we're seeing here. And obviously, if he manages to win, it will be the second consecutive time an Italian wins a Formula Hololive race in the Split A section. And again, Il Canto degli Italiani will play in the podium if this is the case. Of course, that won't actually happen, but imagine if it does. It will be absolutely amazing and gives you goosebumps, especially if you're Italian. Caminera Riba will be enjoying his time at the front for as much as he can until maybe he gets into lap cars, but I don't think that might be the case. Caminera Riba, if he's able to hang on at the front, it's going to be a very popular win for basically the SSRB.
Yeah. And again, I have not seen this car do this well, like, ever. So just seeing them finally actually get something done is pretty nice. As we all know, the Botan is quite the lazy lioness, but I guess she finally got up and did something. And they did that something quite well with them being in first.
And speaking of the drivers also doing well here, Sean Pauli obviously trying to build on from a pretty successful campaign in Formula Hololive, given his debut where he, I think, finished in the mid-pack. I believe he finished inside the top 10. Yeah, he did finish inside the top 10, Sean Pauli, in the Sepang Grand Prix. It's just that he actually finished at 8th place, and obviously him finishing in 3rd will absolutely give him the boost he needs to go further up the Split A standings here. As we've finally completed 38 laps, we are now coming into 6 laps to go here in the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji Split A race.
Pauli does have a chance at 2nd place though, as looking at the race times that they're setting, they're a solid 0.2 of a second faster than Williams, and we've seen that gap decrease. So we are looking at Pauli potentially snagging a silver medal, figuratively, from Williams.
And I just wanted to remind everyone that Riba and Polly have experience in Fuji Speedway, but for Tyler Williams, this is his first time at Fuji Speedway in Formula Hololive rules. Obviously, racing on this track for the first time requires you to learn about the track, but as for Tyler Williams, he didn't need to learn much. He's a fast learner.
Or maybe just really, really lucky, but that's up to you and me and Machep and Redza in the commentary booth to decide.
Well, that is also one more thing, and also just wanted to remind everyone once again, if you haven't bought tickets already for the Fifth Fest, and if you are able to buy streaming tickets for the Fifth Fest, here's the QR code in the bottom left corner for you to able to scan the QR code to get your tickets for the Fifth Fest. It's a capture the moment in Grand Prix Fuji. This time, currently Split A is racing, and currently we're looking into some pretty quiet moments here, but it might not be for long. As you can see here, Sean Pauly is going to get close to Tyler Williams.
Honestly, and wait, are the timetables? Yeah, the timetables are just tweaking, but we can see how fast Pauly is with Damashnev being a solid, what, 4 seconds behind Pauly? Which is quite respectable. Pauly is at the very least getting that bronze medal unless something unfortunate happens.
And right now, speaking about the battles that might be brewing here, looking at Corey Rico Mendez and Aziz Moaziv, they might be in a battle between each other. Just wanted to remind you, the driver representing Hakui Koiri is Fabio Mendez with an S, and the driver representing Takane Shikiara is Corey Rico Mendez with a Z. So please, just to make sure everyone is clear about this, just because they almost share the same surname doesn't mean that they are the same person representing the same Oshi. They represent different members, and we should be proud about that. But that's not the main question that we also want to talk about. Looking at Tyler Williams, though, he is actually getting closer and closer to Riba now, and you can see here Mendes and Kaczynski are still too far back for Riba to actually mount a series for actually. Oh dear, Sean Pauly's coming in. What is the problem this time?
Oh no. Okay. Another bit is down on this fine day on this fine racetrack. Did they miss fuel or something, or is this the weirdest strategy in the history of ARO?
Well, I think they have miscalculated their fuel loads here, but this time they basically forgot. They misjudged the fuel load. They want to try to have the cars as light as possible, but it's now backfired to these 3 drivers, and now Sean Pauly, Ri Liu, and Lorenzo Ricci will have their races undone due to strategy mishaps.
Oh, and on the final 3 laps too. Tisk.
Well,
little boys.
Well, it happens to somebody. It's happens to some of us. Sometimes we make strategy problems here. Well, strategy mistakes. But at the end of the day, what was a 5-horse race for the win has now become essentially a barely 2-horse race for the win. And as you can see here, Riba keeps this race under control for Shishira Botan. Of course, as you mentioned, the Lazy Lion finally getting up and showing her claws in front of basically the jungle or the pack or whatever. Coming at Riba, obviously showcasing that he's got skills in that number 43 car. He's going to try to survive the next 3 laps, trying to survive the onslaught of Tyler Williams, which may or may not be an onslaught, given the gap differences right now.
And also not a very good onslaught either, with a 124 compared to a 123, high 123 anyway. It is not looking very good for Williams, especially because they only have about 2 laps remaining.
And speaking of 2 laps to, well, it's more like 2.5 laps to go here, as Kaminari Riba obviously still maintains control over this race. Kaminari Riba will be absolutely giddy about this opportunity. The more laps he leads, the more excited that he may be, but of course complacency can always creep in, and obviously when complacency creeps in, you think that everything's going to be fine, but then really it's not really fine, and suddenly you have Tyler Williams attacking you in your rear end, and suddenly you lost what would have been a very, very comfortable win, because you basically became the hare in the tortoise and the hare race.
Nope, complacent. It is, Riba has every right to be complacent right now. This is the final stretch. Come on, they can't throw this.
Well, currently as it stands, Well, currently as it stands right now, Riba might still need to push because the gap is not at 10 seconds or 20 seconds or maybe even 30 seconds, as what Fabio Mendes and Lorenzo Ricci and Rim Olger have seen in the in the Japan Grand Prix. This is a capture the moment Grand Prix at Fuji, and of course this race has special rules and it breeds a special set of racing. And obviously, Kamine Riba still has about just under 2 laps to go to try to confirm this win for basically Shishiro Botan.
Yeah, and as we're looking at the final stretch, the final lap, or final 2 laps? What?
Final 2 laps.
I get confused whenever I look at that top left. I hate that thing so much. What's more important here? Final 2 laps, it is the home stretch, as all the drivers they tried their best. Some did better than others, and some were technical geniuses, but it's all coming to a close for Split A.
And speaking of Split A's surprises also, given the contact at the start of the race, Michael Turner obviously being involved in a start line crash with Raja Kaczynski, both of them being off at turn 1 before being able to resume, because they had to teleport back into the pits and go back to the race manually. But Michael Turner did very well to limit the damage given the circumstances.
You know who else delivered the damage? De Oliveira, my goat. Basically shooting up 9 positions from, 6 plus 9, that's 15th place.
Anyways, the final lap, yeah, which is very, very mind-boggling. Very impressive, mind-boggling given the circumstances. And let's take a look onto who's going to be winning the Int class. Shongo will be leading the final lap of this race in the Int class right now. Shongo leading Kento Kai, Rafael de Oliveira leads the ID cars. So Shongo will be looking to have an EN class win and the Int class win, and Oliveira will at least come home with an ID class win. And as for the overall and JP class wins, Kamine Riba has this race under control so far.
It is looking to be a very, very fruitful race, even with Williams slightly behind, by about a second. It is really the home stretch now. The final lap to go, and that's basically Split A will conclude in about 2 minutes. So 2 minutes to do some damage.
Anyways, Kamine Riba, a final corner for him. He has never been seeing this good of a car since the Tokachi Super Prix. It's gonna be a very amazing moment. The Lioness Pride is showcasing within Kamine Riba. He wins the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split A race in not so dominating fashion, but he does get the job done. Meanwhile, we have Tyler Williams finishing second, and Vlasha Damasha rounds out the 3 podium places.
Yep, and we are having more cars pile on in to the finish line. There will be no more battles, I believe, with just how big the gaps are. It's maybe Sinful, but I doubt it, honestly. Sinful just made so many terrible decisions this race. I can't even sugarcoat it. Anyways,
Rafael de Oliveira confirms to have won in the in the ID class. Shongo, despite finishing 4th, is your EN class winner. Sean Pauli grabs the fastest lap right at the depth. I believe it's a 1:22.882 or the 8:22. But anyways, we might be seeing some last lap gaps, but I don't think that might be the case, as Michael Turner completes his recovery drive to finish 10th. Sean Pauli 11th, Reed Liu 12th, Evans 13th. But there might be a side-by-side battle right at the line. Here's Sinful and Ricci. And it looks to me that Sinful manages to beat Ricci just about. I think
no, they didn't.
Maybe, but we'll have to check. We'll have to check the gas. But I think Lorenzo Ricci might have got it. But anyways, that should be it for the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split A race. Kamine Riba is your winner for the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split A race in very nice fashion there. Obviously had to claw his way to get up to the front, and that would be Rebus' first win in ARO competitions. Il Canto Tecnico dell'Italiano will absolutely play. Well, of course, we're not going to be playing it so right now, as we're going to be focusing on other things. Tyler Williams finishes second for Amane Kanata, continuing on his impressive run of form as of late, finally showcasing in Formula Hololive. Vlasa Damasha will look to take the championship lead, but I think Kaminari Riba might be the championship leader, but we'll have to check on that as well. He finishes third for Aki Rosenthal. Shongo comes home in this race as the international class and EN class winner, and Kento Kai finishes fifth for Hakos Bales. Rafa de Oliveira gets the ID class win for Pavoli Arena alongside Adachi and Koirico Mendez, who finished 7th and 8th for Takanashi Kiara and Ninamai Inanis and Takanashi Kiara respectively. Aziz Mwazib also did a very good race to finish 9th for Ayunda Risu alongside Michael Turner 10th for Shiro Gane Noel. Sean Pauly finishes 11th for Inugami Korone alongside Ray Leo 12th for Sakamata Chloe. 13th goes to Dan Evans for Irony 15, and you can see here there was a tight battle right at the line for Johan Sinfo and Lorenzo Ricci representing Matsuri and Marie respectively. Looking at the gaps here, it's only 0.04 of a second of a gap between these two, and that will be the final two drivers who will be scoring points. Fabio Mendes and Raja Kaczynski will come out of this race having scored not a single point. Unfortunate. So anyways, let's take a look into the replay, but before we do that, Z, I want to hear your thoughts.
Well, that was a very chaotic race, and of which some drivers actually did manage to escape the chaos, but most of them did not. We had basically 5 very, very skilled combatants. One lost pace, one was a technical genius, and the other 3 were basically for title contention. So overall, it was definitely eventful.
So let's take a look into the race replay. I just wanted to specify what exactly happened between Kaczynski and Michael Turner right at the start. Just wanted to fast forward on just a few things. As you can see here, the race finally gets underway. As you can see here, there's Raja Kaczynski here. And now you can see here, that's Vlasa Domashnev actually making a dive bomb, putting Kaczynski to a spin. And I think what happened to Michael Turner and Kaczynski is actually quite separate. So let's take a look back into Damashev's onboard and see what exactly happened.
Well, as we see, just a simple dive bomb, but I think they were... Yeah, I think that might have been just a downright push, or at least trying to steer clear to avoid crashing at the best possible situation. On the other one, Damashnev is a murderer. He just killed Kaczynski's potential at not even a win, but just a good race.
Here's Michael Turner is on board, and this time it's Ri Liu.
Was, I think, an attempted dive bomb or a push. We're gonna have to see Ri Liu's on board for that. Get a front camera for Ri Liu's car, and we'll see what really happened here. Definitely does try to make a dive bomb right there, and
wow,
yeah,
synchronized.
They tried to turn that corner right there, and it just like was not a good opportunity right there to turn that corner. So just an overall miscoordination.
Speaking of which, that should be it for the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Split A. Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji Split A race. And with that, let's take a look into the championship standings for at least the JP class cars for after basically 2 races in Formula Hololive Japan. So let's take a look here before we take a slight pause until we resume the stream at 11 a.m. Japan time for the Split B race. Hopefully everyone's still able to tune in. But for now, let's take a look into basically the standings here, and we can confirm to you that Vlasa Damashnev still maintains his championship lead ahead of Kaminari Riba by about 35 points, and Lorenzo Ricci, Tyler Williams are still in it, but the gaps are starting to open up right at the 3rd and 4th positions here. Both Damashnev and Riba showcasing consistent pace and speed for Aki Rosenthal and Shishiro Botan. Of course, Damashnev did finish second the previous race at Sepang, and for him to to finish third, that is going to be a very, very good form. Michael Turner, given the circumstances, he has to be given a round of applause to maintain his place inside at least within the top 10 of Split A, at least in the qualifier season. This one is only going to count the Split A contenders for this race. Johan Sinful out of the points, but it looks to me that everyone has finally scored a point. You can see here Sean Pauli, Roger Kaczynski dropped down. Leo Fabio Mendes and Johan Sinful currently at risk to be not qualifying for the Suyo Cup in Formula Hololive Japan. So that would be for the JP class cars, and because of course we are going to ignore the EN and ID class cars. So that should be it for the Split A race. We're gonna go on a slight pause here, everyone. We're gonna be returning to stream in about 30 minutes time. Hopefully everyone is still able to tune in. With that out of the way, we're gonna take a slight pause. And all that being said, I'm Mama Reza, and alongside me is Zeke Wimberly, and alongside me was Sean Go, but he had internet issues, so he had to bail out. And you've been watching the 2024 Captain the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji weekend so far. Hopefully everyone's here to continue watching for the Split B race coming up. Hello everyone, we have seen some great racing here from Split A, and it's now time for Split B to showcase their talents and skills here in Fuji Speedway. Welcome everyone to the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji once again. This time, it's going to be Split B's turn to perform here in Fuji Speedway. So let's take a look back at the track map once again for those uninitiated. So we have 4.5 kilometers of Fuji Speedway for everyone to deal with, 16 corners in total, 44 laps for a total of 200 kilometers. Target lap times, of course, have already been beaten, so let's just use the fastest lap from the previous qualifying session as a reference point. A 1:22.9, if I'm not mistaken, is the new target lap time to beat. So as we mentioned, this is the second round of qualifiers. And it's also the one of 4 ARO races considered the 5th best. This is the second for today. Modified pit stop rules, and with the inclusion of in-cars already spices up the equation for much of the race so far. So with that out of the way, let's take a look into the spotter's guide for Split B this time, as we've already showcased you the rules. This time we have Hofumi returning to the racetrack for Tokino Sora. He, of course, already has a win in the Okayama Grand Prix finale. That was last November. He has something to fight for Tokino Sora. Wamakashu displaced into the new number 3 Tsunamaki Watame car. He will have something to fight for. Of course, his former rider, the number 66, was obviously booted for reasons not sure we can explain or not. And then we had Danilo Goyena for Sada Pecora. This will be his first start in Formula Hololive here in Fuji, alongside Sky, So Byung-eun for Iroha and Flatters respectively, as does Jake Goodwin for Akami Mio. And a bit of a swan song move for Mamashazan Reza, of course. He did announce that he will be stepping down as the Himamori Luna driver for Formula Hololive Japan. At the very least, he will continue racing for Luna in Hololive GT3 until the end of the 2024 season to give way for a new driver, which we will announce soon. And then we have Maverick Duziem representing Omar Polka. This is also his first time at Fuji Speedway alongside Rim Olko again for Ozora Subaru. Yu Cheon, first time in Fuji Speedway. As you can see here, they represent Polka, Subaru, and Louis respectively. Mamashaki Reza representing Mimosa Nene. He will try to have a vengeance against his brother. Obviously, he did beat his brother last week in the Hololive GT3 race. Will it be the same this time by? Ari Nakamura is the odd one out, as Akahato is not going to be in the 5th best. But we will include Ari Nakamura anyway, as she does still compete for points for Formula Hololive Japan. Kate Garcia represents Vesha Zeta, Hanari Miyuki represents Kobo Kanaeru, and Ahmed Elasho represents Kyla Kowalskia in what should be Holo Heroes' debut in idol performances and debuts in Hololive festivals. Looking forward to see how they will perform later this evening, and looking forward to see these 3 drivers rip through the stage in Formula Hololive. And that's for the ID class. For the EN class cars, we only have Jake Martinez, Sven Jensen, and Juanica Santo representing Mori Calliope, Iris, and Orocroni respectively. As we move on to the standing for the splits, we're going to be focusing more on Split B right now. Rim Olgo currently leads the proceedings right now alongside ahead of Yucheya, Momashada Reza, and Danilo Goyena. We also have the likes of DuCM, Mohamed Cashew, Jake Goodwin also currently racing right now in Split B. Well, soon to be racing right now in Split B. And then we have Hofumi, and then we also have, well, currently Akitana Gabe will be So Byung-eun once he gets to score points. And then there's also Ari Nakamura and also Mamashaki Reza, who will be looking to score his first points in Formula Hololive Japan this season. Anyways, everyone, welcome back to the stream here. Welcome everyone back to Fuji for the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split B race at Fuji. I'm Mamashada Reza, of course, in the commentary booth. Alongside me is, of course, Zeke Wimberly as usual. And I just wanted to adjust the settings there because right now it's a bit of a mess. Excuse me while we take a slight pause to adjust the config and all that stuff. Just wanted to check here. Yeah, I think it's still good. So anyways, got the first cars out on track. That looks like Muhammad Cashew. Anyways, I'm Mamashad Reza. Alongside me is Zeke Wimberly. Welcome back, Zeke, for the Split B qualifying.
Yay. Oh god, my throat is already starting to feel the toll of last race, but Let's get on it. Split B, we saw some promising racing from Split A, so we should be expecting the same level of racing, if not better, from Split B. Let's hope it doesn't disappoint us.
And right now we're looking at Mohamed Cashew already coming on across to probably start to get himself prepared. And as you can see here, Mohamed Cashew obviously showcasing his talent and style for Tsunamaki Watami. Watami, of course, having preferred the bright uniform as of late. This will be something to watch out for all of the Watami's going on. Also, we have Rim Olgo, who won the Split B race of the Japan Grand Prix. Obviously, he's going to try to make it 2 for him, but let's see if he can get things done. Also, we have Kate Garcia, Amel Lashore, also Hanari Miyuki further back, who are going to be making their Fuji debut in Formula Hololive International, as their Oshis are also set to make their debuts in Hololive festivals. Anyways, looking into some of the other contestants there, Mamashaki Reza hasn't been scoring points in the first race due to a funky crash that happened in the Japan Grand Prix. But let's go put that aside, as we're going to go on board Mamashaki Reza. Try to get a good exit off of the final corner. Make sure you get a very, very good launch from basically Panasonic corner, a late apex, turn and brake at the same time at that time to make sure you can set up for this 1.5 kilometer long front straight coming into turn 1. The 100-meter board will be your reference point, and also the curbs as well. Coming into turn 1, he just hangs it around in second gear. That should show you how low the speeds are at this circuit. Meanwhile, we're coming into Coca-Cola corner. Dab on the brakes at Coca-Cola and just straddle the curves just a bit. The curves won't do you much damage. Here's 100R, hang around in 5th gear, 230 kilometers an hour. Shaki Reza goes, and then coming into the billboard, 50-meter board, brake there at the hairpin, get a good arc into it. And now coming into 300R, pretty flat here. And now coming into the Dunlop chicane. Brake at the Dunlop billboard to set yourself up for this technical section here, as Sean Go once mentioned. And now you can see here 52.605 for Mamashaki Reza coming into turn 13 and into nets. This should be one of the more technical sides of Fuji Speedway, sector 3. And now coming into the final corner at Panasonic. Again, as we mentioned, brake and turn at the same time. Get the late apex. And make sure you get as much throttle as you can for this main straight. And that should be a lap here in Fuji Speedway, where Mamashaki Reza plays himself.
1:23.870 for Shaki Reza, which is a fairly decent time. So far, we have been seeing some lame times right now with like 125s, 124s, etc. We're hoping to boost that up, as we are approaching already our half of the halfway point of this qualifying. More drivers are starting to finish up their lap times. Jake Goodwin getting a 124, I believe, one pace, really low 124. Just everyone just starting to finish up their first lap as we, finish up the halfway section of this qualifying.
And here's Jake Martinez is on board, number 4, Maury Calliope. Congratulations to Maury Calliope for being awarded the task of providing the ED theme for, I believe it's one of the Suicide Squad anime out there. It's been announced by Callie on her Twitter, so do check that one out as well. As you can see, more drivers finishing that line. That's Yu Chaeyeon, Ho-Fumi coming across the line. 8th for Chaeyeon. Ho-Fumi now bumps Chaeyeon down to 9th. He is in 8th. Rim Olgor only is able to go 12th. Hanari Miyuki will finish her lap. She will set 4th. And here's Shaki Reza and his final points-paying qualifying session for him and Mori Luna. It's not looking good for him so far. He's currently down in 16 and is under pressure to be last.
I find it very ironic that the younger brother was on top until I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. I'm so sorry. But the younger brother is ahead of the older brother right now, which is honestly quite surprising, seeing as the younger brother has a bit of a history of being very unlucky in the AR. But speaking of unlucky, Goyana shooting up the first place with Goodwin shooting up a nice second for their Oshis, stealing away first place from, I'm gonna try to pronounce it, Young.
Oh, that looks like Maverick DCM there. It looks like he's made contact with someone. That means he will not take any further part in this qualifying session. So DCM is currently stranded at the exit of one of the Dunlop corners there. He's not going to be taking any further part in this qualifying session unless if he teleports himself back, which is going to be a big ask. So there are, I think, another car off, but we're going to have to check. It looks like no car is off. It looks like there's only 17 cars from what we're seeing here. Just wanted to double check here because I don't think this is the case. I think there's supposed to be 18 cars. I think there's a car missing. So we're gonna need to take a bit of a check to see what's going on, because I don't think this is right for basically this session to continue as it is, because it should not be at 17 cars. It should be at 18 cars. Excuse us while we go do some slight maintenance while we try to adjust the whole thing. But fortunately, we still have a lot of time, 3 hours before stage 1 begins for the actual Fifth Fest itself. So excuse me.
While we are in intermission, I'd like to point out that you guys should probably buy tickets to the Fifth Fest that is happening, like as our main commentator has said, in about 3 hours. By the way, this is not sponsored. We are doing this out of goodwill. We just want to throw not sponsored.
Anyways, we'll be on intermission until further notice. We're gonna try to get we're gonna basically get ourselves back into the qualifying session very soon. We'll be sure to do that. Just wanted to get this thing done. Hang on. Split B. All right. Also, I just wanted to remind everyone that given that we only have 5 minutes left in qualifying, as we're currently red flagging this session, where basically all of the drivers' progress will be reset and everyone will have to go again in this qualifying. So excuse us while we try to remedy the whole situation. So just excuse us for a moment. Alright, fortunately, we're back here in Fuji Speedway, and unfortunately, we're gonna have to reset all of the drivers' lap times as we're about to get this qualifying session back underway. Hopefully, we have a total of 18 cars this time, and fortunately, this is the case as we have officially resumed the qualifying session, albeit with everyone having reset their lap times. I feel like apologies to Goyena, who have secured the provisional pole at the time, but due to a technical glitch, we're gonna have to do it again.
And it seems that our qualifying time has stayed the same. So our participants are gonna have about 2-3 laps to go for their qualifying, so they really gotta make it count.
And right now, who needs to make this count? Rem Olgo currently. He is currently in the championship lead after winning the Sepang Grand Prix Split B race. He has been showcasing some skill and talent in the Ozora Subaru number 48, as you can see here. Of course, we did mention about complacency previously throughout the stream, and let's just hope that once again complacency does not creep in for Rim Olgor, but this time we're gonna go into a look into Rim Olgor's lap, but this time on the outboard cameras instead of like the in-car cam. So let's just see where Rim Olgor goes in this main straight.
Well, probably to the finish line. Da-ding-ting.
Anyways, he crosses it already. Now we're about to get this lap finally underway from Rim Olgor. You can see here pushing on the brakes here to slow the car down. He manages to clear the lap car, so that won't be too much of an issue for Olgor. Right now we only have under 3 minutes to go in this qualifying session, and you can see here down into Coca-Cola corner 24.434. That looks like a pretty decent first sector for the South African, as Rim Olgor is going to try to get himself faster as the sectors progress. Anyways, Rim Olgor currently trying to pile on the pressure on all of the other drivers. As you can see here, he does have 2 wins in ARO competitions already. He won in both Hololive GT3 and Formula Hololive's season openers. Again, he sets a 52.532 for his second sector lap. Back to Rim Olgor, he has been showing a lot of skill, a lot of talent. Of course, representing one of the highest energetic virtual YouTubers in Hololive, Ozora Subaru. This comes as a no-brainer.
Yeah, and as shown before in the Ozora Subaru car, they are a very energetic, very giddy car. They are very predatory. They will not hesitate to make a dive bomb on your position, and they will either take it or they will crash out trying. Well, I mean that figuratively, but you get the idea. It's just overall a very consistent car, making a consistent lap... Well, not consistent lap time, but making a 1:23.821 provisional pole lap time, which is fairly decent.
And speaking of very, very well, Maverick Duciem does very well to get himself still in contention here. He basically was crashed. He actually crashed out in the first half of qualifying, but now that it's reset and the grid order has improved, Duciem is now currently in basically something of a, I'm not sure, something of a reset for him, and that reset is doing himself absolute wonders. Duciem now is currently at least inside the top 5.
That's assuming the positions don't really mess up. We've seen amazing things on this, especially in the qualifying, with how narrow the gaps can be. Like right there, 1:23.982, only about 1/10 of a second behind Olgor by Kate Garcia, which honestly they kind of deserve that. They've been having a few rough patches for their races recently. Shazin Reds does still in last place right now with a very bad lap time. I'm gonna be honest, no sugarcoating it.
Yeah, he's not right now. Look and see here. That's a very, very terrible second sector. And talk about a reversal of fortunes here. Danilo Goyena just isn't able to recapture what he did in the first part of the qualifying session. Now in the second part, even Danilo Goyena is struggling. And even look at Sharon Reza's brother Shakib. Well, okay, granted he is stuck behind lap traffic, but that's not gonna do any of the brothers any favors.
And Shazin Reza, who's so used to dominating the ARO, is finally getting a taste of his own medicine in last place. How's it feel, bud?
Well, sometimes it happens for you, sometimes it doesn't, you know, and this is one of the cases where it does happen for, let's say, this driver here. 3 wins in Formula Hololive en route to the 2023 Formula Hololive Japan title. The defending Formula Hololive champion will look to qualify last in his final points race for the Princess, Himamori Luna. Obviously, this has got to absolutely sting for the Lunites watching, but sometimes it happens for you. But you know what's also exciting? His Luna's compatriot, Ozora Subaru's his representative, Rim Olgor, qualifying on pole position. And speaking of which, Irene Nakamura also gives us a bit of a surprise. Obviously, Akihata does not perform in this year's 5th Fest. But Irene Nakamura is gonna keep racing on for Hachama regardless.
Yeah. And DCM qualifying at least top 5 was an absolute lie. And looking in the gaps, we literally have, like, what? That's like 200ths of a second right there between Nakamura and Shora. I'm hoping I pronounced that right. I probably botched it. I'm so
That won't
sorry.
be that won't be too much of a problem. That is actually a pretty decent pronunciation. Anyway, so we're gonna get a bit of a slight intermission here to get ourselves into this qualifying, get to the starting order for the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Split B. As you can see here, there has been a pretty surprising front row here, as we're about to show you right now. Here is Rim Olgo representing Ozora Subaru in pole position here. Excuse us, as we're about to show you the times. Here's Rim Olgor with a 1:23.821, and this time they don't actually beat the lap time targets by quite the margin, unlike the race split A race. Here is also Kate Garcia, but the best of the in-class cars currently qualifying in second for Vesha Tokinosora representative Hofumi qualifies third for Tokinosora alongside Iron Nakamura 4 for Akai Hato. Ahmed Al-Shor 5th for Kayla Kowalski alongside Sven Jensen, who is currently on site to try to make sure he gets this big W for Iris. Mama Cashew 7 for Tsunamaki Watame alongside Maverick DuCM, who had a lifeline at the end of, at the second half of this qualifying to qualify 8 for Omar Polka. 9th goes to Maverick, Jake Goodwin for Okami Miyo. Hanari Miyuki in her first race in Fuji, well, in Formula Hololive actually, representing Kobo Kanairu, she will start 10th. Yu Cheon 11 for Takane Loi alongside So Byung-eun 12th. Remember, So Byung-eun, these make up the Korean 6th row. Monica Stanto 13th for Ora Kone alongside Ed Sky 14th for Kazama Iroha. Jake Martinez starts 15th for Mori Calliope alongside Mamashaki Reza 16th. Daniel Goyena 17th for Usada Pecora, and Mamashaki Reza rounds out the grid for Himemori Luna, obviously not being used to being at the back. But let's see what surprises he can entail in his final points paying race for Himemori Luna.
Yeah, as we go into this next race, I'd have to say that the favorites are probably Rim Algor and Hofumi. Both are very confident racers. Kate Garcia also does have a chance in second place, although that I'm gonna say that they've been having a rough patch recently. So hopefully this is the light at the end of the tunnel. Now, personally, I'm rooting for a good win. Simply because I am a Mio fan, and this is just me shamelessly rooting out for my Oshi. Well, my second Oshi. But yeah, here we go.
Anyways, we're gonna get this split B race underway, and right now, the front row looks very, very tasty. Right now, we have an Int car literally alongside the JP car on the front row of the grid. What could go wrong? Maybe it could go wrong in many senses. Anyways, the race finally gets underway. At least the start gets underway. We have Rim Olgo on pole position alongside Kate Garcia in the Vesha 03, who will be first exiting turn 1. The race gets underway once again, this time for split B. And as you can see here, that looks like Kate Garcia having a very, very good launch there off of turn 1. She's looking like a clear favorite to get into the race lead. She's going to try to wrestle it with, that looks like Rim Olger currently at the front. Everyone survives this time into turn 1. And now coming into Coca-Cola corner, Garcia is gonna make the sweeping move around the outside against Rim Olgor, but it looks like Rim Olgor is gonna try to fight back. Side by side, these two drivers go. Olgor pinch on the inside. Garcia having a better launch on the outside, but it looks to me that Olgor has a better positioning on the inside line to put himself back into the race lead. Garcia second, Nakamura third, Fumi fourth, Jensen fifth. Looks like these two drivers are still gonna go side by side. Oh my goodness, oh, that was a great move there by Garcia, but will she hang on? She has a very poor exit off of Dunlop and coming into Nets and the final corner Panasonic. Now Rim Olger has the lead.
Well, as Garcia just showed there, they are very, very feisty today. I think it's a cat. I don't know. Is it a fox? Is it a cat? Is it a coyote? I don't even know. But looking at the timetables here, still a little bit of a rough patch, as in Red Zone did manage to jump 2 positions. That's cool, I guess. Miyuki 7th, Ellen Shore 6th, Byung-eun 9th, Keshi 10th. And looking into the standings, Hanoi Miyuki and DuCM, I believe, going side by side. Olgor and Garcia going side by side. Everyone hates everyone. Who will win? We will have to wait and find out.
It's gonna get very feisty from here on out. Here, Garcia's gonna go for it. Round 2 for Zeta versus Subaru, and you can see here, Garcia's still gonna try to hang around the inside of 100R, but I think she fumbled it quite hugely. And now you can see here, Hofumi is gonna take the opportunity to sweep Kate Garcia, but it looks like the battle's not over yet.
Oh, it's never been over. There's a very just angry Garcia right now. They are tired of getting pushed around. They are done getting pushed around, trying to reclaim their second place from Hofumi, which has shown to be a very competent driver, star of the show, #1, both in the championship of 2022, I believe, and with the delivery, which is very, very nice livery, might I add.
Also, just wanted to add on Hofumi. He is the Hololive GT3 Japan Series postseason champion of 2022, and is also the Formula Hololive Japan postseason champion of 2023. Of course, winning in both of the season finales in the Hololive GT3 postseason and the Formula Hololive Japan postseason. So, you take that what you will.
Well, we are looking at some abysmal lap times right now. Oh my god, 128.287 from Goyena. It is, and then we have like 127s basically almost across the board. Speaking of on the board though, Elishore and Byung-jun are fighting, as well as Jensen and Miyuki, which this is just a very surprising development, by the way. So we'll have to wait and see what goes on next.
Anyways, looking into some other battles here, we're looking at Shakib Reza actually getting closer to Ed Sky, currently in 12th place. Shazan Reza has, I think, made the pass onto Wani Castanto. Obviously, Shazan Reza has experiences battling Castanto. That was back in the countdown. And now Jake Martinez is going to try to put one ahead of Castanto now. And now Martinez is up into 16th place. Great movement between these two drivers. Bad for Castanto, but great for Shazan Reza. He might just be, I don't know, sandbagging in qualifying to just showcase what he can do to overtake other cars with a fast car at the back.
You are on some copium right now, but that's fine. Fuli and Algor are very close to each other. I believe around 0.2 of a second. Is with Fumi and Algor. Wait, are they fighting right now? They are fighting right now, with Fumi taking the race lead. Number one is in fact #1 for now, but Algor will try to launch an attack soon, but they just don't have the opening right now.
No openings yet for Rim Olgor. As you can see here, Fumi has taken the lead from Rim Olgor at the start-finish line. Just shows you how powerful the slipstream is, especially at this 1.5 kilometers straight. It's almost a mile. Actually, just wanted to remind everyone that as well. And currently, the current state of affairs for as far as the race field monitor goes, Hofumi will actually pit very, very early, like in 3 laps time. So it's going to be making the same mistake as Johan Sinful, and also Rim Olgor and Mohammad Shakib Reza, Shazrin Reza. A lot of the drivers are going to be making some questionable calls.
They are just technical masters. We just can't see how intelligent they are, because we're looking through with our commentator brains, but in the racing brains, this is a completely devastating move for the opposition. And speaking of devastating move, Young Yun has just murked Jensen's 6th place position, Rip Bozo.
Anyways, Hofumi continues to set the fastest lap. This time, the Tokinosora #1 showcases the prowess of the OG. Meanwhile, UK Aeon having a very, very good launch there. I think that's 297, nearly 300 kilometers an hour at the end of that main straight. Just carrying a lot of speed there, Yu Chae-yeon. I'm not sure how much rear wing she has here at the moment, but she is going to try her luck to attack Sven Jensen. Down the inside she goes. She's going to make a surprise move, but nothing comes of it so far. But she's still going to hang around the outside. Of course, the JP class cars are better in the corners. And it looks to me that Chae-yeon, with a sweeping move around the outside, manages to clear Sven Jensen.
Sven Jensen seems to be following quite a bit of position right now. I don't even know what position they were in when we started this, but I swear they lost at least 2 or 3. But we are looking at Jensen hopefully eyeing some revenge right now with kind of that because they're kind of close right now.
Meanwhile, more battles left, right, and center. This time with two nearly similarly looking colored cars. Irene Nakamura on the inside, So Byung-eun on the outside at Net's corner. Now it'll be the other way around at Panasonic. But then again, you see here Nakamura having a very, very good move here against Byung-eun. And you can see here Nakamura managing to stay ahead for now. But there's going to be some side-by-side battles here. Here you can see also Yu Chae-yeon coming into the pits. So also, we're looking at her making a judgmental error in the pit stops as well. So she will be joined by other drivers who thought that they could try to win it with their strategies right now. But anyways, So Byung-eun against Nakamura. And then we also have Miyuki against Kate Garcia. It's a Holo Hero battle on one end and a Red Holo, F-Holo JP battle on the other.
Yeah, just battles left and right, and Fumi casually just set like the best lap, battle 123.8, which is amazing lap time by Fumi, and that gap only is just getting bigger and bigger as we speak right now. 5-second gap between them and Algor. The Subaru car is known to be quite good, but it seems that Fumi's OG certified classic whatever is just proving to be better at the moment.
And currently, just wanted to check, Hanari Miyuki is actually better on the strategy, but only slightly. But let's see where the race development goes and whether if her pitting on lap 18 will be enough for her to run through the remainder of this race. Because if that's going to be the case, Hanari Miyuki is going to be set for a shock win at Fuji Speedway on Japanese home soil. Fukuoka Kanaeru securing an ID class win in the process, which absolutely shakes things up because the no ID class car has won a Formula Hololive International race before, let alone an invitation, let alone a high-level race like this.
Yo, we got Fumi and Algor peeling into the pits. Shaki Fredza also does, but they're not important right now. What is important is that Fumi just probably gave up a race win to go into the pits at lap 7.
Which is very, very early indeed, which is definitely going to hurt. Meanwhile, there's more battles here as Ducien continues to fall down the order. Jake Martinez saw the opportunity. Ducien was alongside Shazrain. And now you can see Ducien is going to try to defend as much as he can. Now, Dos Santos has seen the door open for him to make the pounce, makes the race move. And now you can see Jake Martinez makes the move against... that looks like Ducien there. Anyways, the battle has now simmered there. Great defensive driving for Ducien.
Yeah, a lot of good, just this whole block right here is just complete chaos. 110, 210, 410, just all, well, hundreds.
Well, it's all over the place.
I'm so tired.
I know.
So tired.
You know, we know we're all tired here, and it's all, we're all over the place. But sometimes we just have to press on. So, anyways, going into this battle here, you can see Danilo Goyena also trying to get himself back into this battle for basically at least the top 10. Right now, ignore the slight shuffle here because that's just the timing tower just borking as usual. So Byung-eun confirms to go into the pits right now. And looking at the rest of the drivers here, here's Juan Constanto against Maverick Ducien. As we mentioned, the in cars have better straight line speed due to their horsepower advantage, but they are heavier than that will have them struggle in the corner. But right now, Constanto uses the advantages of his car to good use for him to get up to 10th.
Yeah, and just overall, a ID or EN member actually managing to win is just on in the 5th S too as a guest is actually kind of awe-inspiring if you really think about it. With Miyuki, Garcia, it's a front row ID lockout right now, I believe.
Yeah, it's currently a 1-2 for the ID class cars. Well, it's in the Formula Hololive context, the ID class and the EN class cars are guests. But in the 5th S themselves, they are part of the main stage performers. They are not counted as guests. They are counted as the main performers. And right now, both Miyuki and Garcia want it to be that way, as they want to try to steal valuable 200 points away from Irene Nakamura, who is currently leading in the JP class.
And I believe Hachima isn't even participating in the 5th S, right?
No, she's not.
Yeah, okay. Which leaves just an overall chaotic race for the JP members at the moment, just trying to. This is supposed to be their main race. They're supposed to be the spotlight here, but for the most part, the ID classes and just the EM too. The EMs are doing pretty decent this race too. They're just stealing that away.
And right now, Shadrin Reza is peeling into the bits. He's going to have a pretty long service here. Don't tell me Shadrin Reza is actually going to go for... Actually, no, that's not actually going to be the case. He's also going to go for a very quick pit stop. He's going to have to pit again.
Oh, no.
It's
Shadrin Reza continuing to be a bottom feeder. Oh, my God.
Well, at this point, if you hear some of his complaints... Well, if you know where his interests are for the 2024 season, he does mention that his current focus is on Hololive GT3 because he has already won what needs to be won. Okay, he doesn't have a Grand Prix win to his name. Only like 3 Super Prix wins and an Invitational race win. That was from last year. And right now, Shadrin Reza actually doesn't really mind too much that he's not performing as well as he should be, or what the Lunites were expecting. But if you know, in the words of Luna herself, it doesn't matter on where your position is at the moment, as long finishing the race is what matters.
That is one of the quotes of all time. However, I think Shadrin Reza is coping right now. And speaking of coping, Martinez getting shuffled down to 10th place as Costanzo manages to effortlessly slip through their defenses. It is looking to still be a very chaotic mid-pack right now.
A chaotic midfield as it is right now, and as you can see here, Nakamura only having a 0.6 of a gap behind Garcia and Miyuki. And remember, Nakamura is also technically in the same strategy as Miyuki and Garcia. Of course, Nakamura will pit at the same time as Garcia, and Miyuki will pit 3 laps earlier. They have Miyuki only has 8 laps to go before she will pit. Both Garcia and Nakamura have 11 laps to go. This battle for the race win is going to get very, very weird, as you've mentioned.
Well, with Miyuki, Garcia, and Nakamura pitting around halfway, a little less than halfway through the race, I think they have a genuine chance at not blundering their fuel like bozos.
Well, sometimes it happens, but yeah. Anyways, the battle for the top 3 has remained stagnant. Leading the EN class, however, is Van Jensen, and he's absolutely relishing this moment as he's gonna try to pile on the pressure onto the top 3. Maybe he can be a very, very good dark horse contender, as Yu Jae-yeon has to be called into the pits once again.
I'm glad we learned our lesson in Split A. But speaking of learning lessons, Sky is intending to give El Shore a lesson that they'll probably forget, honestly. It's only 6th and 7th. They're not bad placements.
Well, and now Shadrin Reza at least is not last place right now, as Yu Jae-yeon has to pit for a 2nd time. And due to her pitting on lap 11, this will mean that she'll have to pit for a 3rd time, which obviously rubs salt on the wound for the driver currently 2nd in the Split B standings.
Man, why? Just stick through it, please.
Well, they were trying.
Stick through it.
Well, they were trying, but sometimes it just doesn't work. Meanwhile, just wanted to check around the current the situation that's also developing. Looking into Shaki Reza, who will be pitting in the next 2 laps. Shadrin Reza will be pitting in the next. That looks to me next 6 laps. So Byung-eun will pit in the next 4 laps. Rem Olga will pit in the next 2 laps too. So yeah, it gets very, very weird from here. So right now we're gonna be mainly focusing on the top 3 battles so far, as there might be something brewing between the top 3.
Yeah, obviously. There's always something brewing between the top 3, except for when it's actually the top 2 and 3 that fight, and then versus is kind of like 5 seconds ahead. But what's important here, mid-pack is always brewing, as it usually is. You see him about 0.4 of a second behind Fumi right now, who blundered their fuel. Nakamura only about 7/10 and gaining. Other than that, I don't see anything that's notable in the times.
All right, and looking into other scenarios that we might be taking a look. Right now, Shadareza is only 10 seconds behind Rim Olga. Remember, Shadareza will have to pit again. Olga, I believe, has already made his hasn't made his second pit stop. So obviously, Shadareza and both of them are on a kind of a similar pit stop count. But you can see Shadareza has actually caught up to Olga by a rate of none. Olga, remember, he actually qualified on pole position for this race. That means he scored successive pole positions in 2 races. Meanwhile, we might be checking if there is a battle. There is no battle. Again, that's just the timing being messy as usual. Again, Hofumi and Rim Olga is about to be called back into the pits once again.
Yeah, another, okay. Anyway, looking at the people that didn't pit super early, we're looking in for a decent race. So definitely putting up a fight in the... Well, honestly, there's like splits in this split. Like the lap times are just... the gaps are so large.
So, well, in terms of the battle packs, yes, we are noticing that as well. There's a battle for the lead right now between 3 drivers, and there's also the battle for what should be 6 between El Ashore, Sky, Goodwin. And also we have some slight battles between Martinez and Goyena, but that's not going to be coming to fruition anytime soon. So obviously, yeah. And honestly, for some of these drivers, they're just going to be enjoying their time in Fuji Speedway, while others are going to try to score as many points as possible, given that this is a points-paying race for the JP class. And of course, the cars can't steal points positions away from JP class cars. This is gonna be something of a curveball for some who do want to take it seriously, but there are those who just want to chill.
Speaking of chilling, that is something Olgor is not doing, who started in first, I believe, right? Down 17 positions in the first 14 laps.
Well, that has gotta hurt if you are part of the Subatomo, but then again, if you are a DD, Demo Daisuke guy, or rather those who don't mind who you're supporting just supporting the talents regardless of who they are and what personalities they bring. It's just interesting to see. Anyways, back into the current scene right now. It's Guy absolutely getting closer and closer to Ahmed El Shori. Just feel like it will be sometime soon that Sky is gonna finally make the move against the Egyptian/Malaysian driver.
Just giving out a quick shout out to Miyuki, because Miyuki has jumped up around 9 positions during this race. So they're basically on the craziest comeback arc ever. Anyway, speaking of nope, that's just a race logic time thingy being weird. Never mind.
And here's the funny part, or rather the sad part if you're a Subatomo. From 15 laps, Rim Olgor has went from being the leader to almost being lapped by Hanari Miyuki. But then again, that's just something that's happened. I know it's quite horrible, but sometimes it happens. But anyways, Hanari Miyuki going into the lead, gaining 9 positions from the start. Oh, not 10 positions from the start. So she started 11th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I thought it was 10 personally, but yeah, probably somewhere around there.
Right now we have confirmation that So Byung-in has come into the pits. Just wanted to confirm back. No, Hanari Miyuki started 10th and is now inside the potentially a position to win the Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split B race. And obviously it's not the first time a driver started from 10th to 1st in a Formula Hololive Japan Split B race Fuji and basically won it.
Fuji is such a weird track. Maybe people are just being silly this race or something.
But then again, Fuji is basically a racing venue that everyone needs to be excited for. There's just a lot of character, there's just a lot of things going on. And this time we have Hanari Miyuki now clearing Rim Olgor. Rim Olgor is going to go a lap down. This is absolutely going to be very funny and weird, as now we get to see lap car intervention play into the hands of Kate Garcia and Ari Nakamura. But it looks to me that Hanari Miyuki manages to clear it so well.
Yeah, and just like all it took was like 15 laps.
And right now we have Irie Nakamura against Kate Garcia. There, Irie Nakamura is going to have a very good launch off of the 100R, but it looks like she's not close enough just yet. But anyways.
Well, how the great ones have fallen. Costanzo and Martinez fighting again. Nothing really surprising there. Mid-pack is still hell, except for Costanzo, who's just fighting Martinez right now. They're in their own little battle. With Goyena too. Goyena might get involved in the mixed too, which we might see happen really, really soon, actually.
Anyways, looking at Costanzo, who just lost on this battle against Martina, he's going to be under pressure for Danila Goyena. Meanwhile, Yu Cheon also makes another pit stop, which is, yeah, it happens again. Anyways,
can we see the pit? No, let me see the pit, like the total pit, like stops of everyone. Pull up that
All right, so we're looking into the pit stop counts here, and looks like Yu Cheon is confirmed to make her third pit stop. And it looks like it might not be over for her, because looking at Yu Cheon, she's gonna have to pit again. She's gonna go for 4 pit stops.
This is the best strategy ever. I don't know why we're complaining about it. It's literally the best strategy ever.
Well, if you're able to be very, very lightning quick and basically lap Fuji in just under a minute, well, that might be possible. But, you know, we're no genies, but sometimes it happens for you, sometimes it does not, and this time it doesn't happen. Well, at least in the good way. But then again, looking into some of the other potential battles that might be coming up here, Sky against Ahmed El Ashur. You can see here, Sky is really piling on the pressure here for Kazamai Roja, and you can see Sky gets very close there, thinks about moving down the inside, but he's still too far behind, has to lift off there to not go off track.
Yeah, we have some just amazing, well, I wouldn't call it amazing driving, but decent driving from Ed Sky, knowing not to go off too wide or else they're gonna get punished severely by Goodwin. He's just kind of literally like a wolf sniffing its prey. Well, not literally, you get the freaking idea, man.
Yeah.
Anyway, Goodwin and Sky, basically, Goodwin's just kind of waiting for Sky to blunder an attack, because Goodwin seems to be playing very, very passively so far.
Anyways, Hanari Miyuki makes her first pit stop of this race, and right now she is currently peeled in. That will lead Kate Garcia and Irie Nakamura basically not having a battle here, because Nakamura actually has cleared the lap car of Rim Olgor, or rather Garcia has cleared the lap car of Rim Olgor, and that will mean Kate Garcia will be free to try to mount a challenge against her fellow Holo Hero teammate Hanari Miyuki.
Miyuki's taking their sweet time in the pits right now, but I guess that's actually kind of a good thing, so they don't blunder on fuel. Which, they should be fine. They should be fine.
Anyways, that's Hanari Miyuki exiting the pit. She will have no such problems in terms as far as fuel goes. She will run this strategy right until the end of this race, and now it's going to be a question on whether or not Kate Garcia can try to make use of this gap, because right now I believe the distance between the two is around 1 minute, or rather a minute and 5 seconds maybe, but it looks like Kate Garcia is going to make use of this opportunity 100%. But then again, for Irie Nakamura, it's actually not going to be over just yet, because right now she's making use of the slipstream being provided by Rim Olgor. As you can see here, she's going to get close. Will she make a move down the inside? No, is going to be the answer for now.
Just playing very, very cautious. This is a very just cautious split right now. There's nothing much going on over here in terms of battles, unless you count, I don't even have it unless you count, man. It's just so passive out here.
Well, so passive for now, but then again, we are coming into the halfway stage of the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji. This time, it's going to be for Split B. Remember, just want to remind everyone once again that you can scan the QR code in the bottom left of your screen right now in order to get yourself tickets, well, streaming tickets to the Fifth Fest concert if you are able to. If you're able to attend the Fifth Fest live stream, you can scan the QR code in the bottom left for you to get into the Fifth Fest website for you to procure tickets. Oh yeah, but by the way, this is the disclaimer. We're doing this out of goodwill. We're here to also promote the Fifth Fest as well. We're not sponsored or endorsed by Cover Corp. This is just basically us just being just returning the favor to Hololive.
Yeah, for giving us hours upon hours of free entertainment and then having a concert we have to pay for. It's the least we could do because I'm broke right now and can't afford the tickets.
Well, a lot of us are broke, but then again, there's at least a free viewing for around 15 to 30 minutes of the like the first parts of the live. But then again, it's just wishful thinking. If you wanna to buy the tickets as a broke person, but you know we have Fumi, Shakib Reza, and Olgor coming into the pits. They will go down the order. And who is not down the order? Well, currently, ironically, Shazin Reza, and ironically, it's the older brother who is currently having more of a laugh than, let's say, compared to his younger brother. As you can see here, he's currently still in 14th, but of course, there's one catch. He still has to pit in the next 6 laps. Same goes for his brother once again. Let's take a look into the pit stops.
Oh no. So let's look at pit stops. So. Oh my god, that is so bad. So, 3 stops, 3 stops, 3 stops, 3 stops, 2 stops, 2 stops, and then we have normal pitters. Okay.
So we technically only have 12 competitors that is still in this race. Well, technically having a really realistic shot of a win here in the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Split B. Nice to see that we still have viewers tuning in from somewhere. Anyways, just wanted to showcase you a bit of something here. Here's DCM trying to take a move down the inside of Goyena at the Dunlop chicane, and meanwhile we have confirmation Kate Garcia has pitted. Same goes for Airi Nakamura. Let's take a look into Hanari Miyuki, who is actually about 19 seconds back, but let's not talk about that for now. Let's talk about this battle.
And talk about it we saw. We have DCM, I believe, trying to really get in, and nope, he got blocked. But he might try again. I don't think it's over yet. Yeah, it's over.
Well, it's not over just yet because remember.
Consolidate the straight? Yeah, I don't think he's making anything on the straight, honestly.
Anyways, we have Kate Garcia and Airi Nakamura still inside the pits right now. And right now, unfortunately, there's nothing to gain or we can overtake from if you are DCM. But looking at Hanari Miyuki already crossing the start-finish line. Kate Garcia has already exited the pits. Same goes for Airi Nakamura. And actually, Nakamura has a faster pit stop than Kate Garcia. And looking at both of the fuels, they are good. Well, Nakamura's not going to have enough fuel. And as for Kate Garcia, she will have enough fuel. Oh no, another fuel miscalculation. It would have been a very, very amazing win for Nakamura, but I'm not sure she's able to do some fuel saving.
I think having the fuel was a very bad idea.
Well, sometimes you need something to power these cars, so that's gonna be something that we can't really avoid. But then again, here's Sven Jensen, who was temporarily in the lead after the leaders have pitted. Sven Jensen is currently serving time inside the pits, and it looks to me that he will have a full tank of fuel. Same goes for well, that's Yu Chae-yeon. That's Yu Chae-yeon again, right? And she's not filled to the brim yet.
It's the best strategy ever, dude. You gotta trust him on this.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, and what Chae-yeon can get. But it just feels like there's something in that car that makes Chae-yeon have to pit again and again and again. Meanwhile, we have Sven Jensen and Castanto side by side. I just want to remind you that I believe Castanto has yet to pit, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, just want to confirm to you that amongst the pit stoppers, Sven Jensen's currently in second. Nakamura is in the net race lead here. And now you can see here, Danilo Goyena steers clear of Sven Jensen here. And now you can see he's about to be under pressure from DCM too, because his tires aren't warm and sticky just yet.
Okay, better ways to phrase that. But yeah, Jensen is probably at a bit of a energy. Wait, am I tweaking? No, I'm not tweaking. Okay, Jensen has a chance to make the greatest comeback ever, but he doesn't, because I think Goyena actually made an overtake on DuCM, and now DuCM has to deal with Jensen's aggression. So Byung-yeon, they're in the pits again. Sky just entered the pits. Okay, first pit stop for Sky. They should have enough fuel, but it's around halfway. We're past the halfway point now. So.
Anyways, just wanted to check on this battle once again here. This time Sven Jensen against Maverick DuCM for position, and it looks to me that there's a great move there by Jensen to try to steer clear of the Marpolka number 46 driver that is DuCM on the outside. And now you can see here Jensen tries to hang around the outside of the Coca-Cola corner, and that's the over and overtake done. Remember, he is a net second behind Irie Nakamura, but remember, Irie Nakamura has to pit again due to issues with the pit, just not having enough fuel in her car, and Sven Jensen might just be the overall race leader come the end of it.
I don't think so. As much as I trust Jensen's driving abilities, I don't think it's gonna be just an overall win for Jensen. It's super unlikely, especially because Jensen seems to be having a very average race so far. Their their timing is great with fuel, pit stops, and all that. It's just like in combat. Racing, they're just painfully average, which could be their downfall.
And right now, looking into the current order as it stands, it's still now we have Jake Goodwin and Jake Martinez, the two Jakes currently in aero competitions right now. They're both coming into the pit. There might be in a battle between themselves and Casio and Sky, but for Jake Martinez and Jake Goodwin, that's not going to be too much of an issue. They will go back to where they are right now. And looking into more drivers coming into the pit.
That was a suspiciously short pit stop. I'm not gonna lie. Are they gonna make it?
Looking into the fuel, looking at the fuel right now, as Martinez has to block So Byung-eun. Martinez is good. Same goes for Jake Goodwin, so no problems for them.
My Miofa and I guess my Dead as well, but more importantly, my Miofa made it. Oh my god, I love Mio. Oh, it says I love Fuji, but that is besides the point right now. We have some racing action to attend to, Goodwin is right now ready to warm his tires up, and once they do it, they should be a decent factor in the game. They're not making first, but they should be doing decent. Goyena is around 4/10 of a second behind Costanto right now, but they have yet to pit. Costanto has also yet to pit.
Anyways, looking into Sven Jensen. Oh, that's So Byung-eun. He spun. It looks like he's made contact with someone. It looks like there's marks over there. He might be able to rejoin the race, teleporting back into the pits. That's just So Byung-eun's bad race gone to very bad. But at least Yoo Chae-yeon isn't going to be last.
Shut up. That is so mean. That is so mean.
I mean, it happens. I mean, it happens. Sometimes you gotta be brutal. Sometimes you gotta be brutally honest. But then again, we're just explaining what we're seeing on the screen right now, with no filter and all that stuff.
Let me be brutally honest with you. Shaz and Reds are currently 54 seconds behind.
Well, then again, he's just chilling at this rate. You can say it's copium all you want, but then again, this is the 2023 Formula Hololive champion you're speaking to, and of course he has to pit again, so that 53-second gap might still be a 53-second gap. But then again, so Reza is just gonna be vibing. Also, looking at Mamashaki Reza though, he is also gonna be pitting as well. Ahmed El Shor is gonna pit. Costanto is going to pit. Fumi and Olgor again.
Isn't that their like fourth? I think it's their fourth pit stop.
And as you can see here on the halo, it says 2023 champion Nanora, something like that. Of course, that would be a sign of him celebrating his 2023 championship. But then again, in this season, he might just be having a, I don't know, season hangover, something like that. But then again, championship hangovers or whatever. But then again, for Shazan Reza, since he has already won, FHolo. He probably doesn't mind too much.
I didn't know a 0-year-old could drink. I didn't know a 0-year-old princess could drink. All right.
Then again,
Whatever.
this candy princess, she is a sexy adult, so that is also something that.
Crazy choice of words. Why is everyone ever in the pits? Oh my god.
Well, right now we are seeing some shuffles up once again. We have Fumi and Olgor pitting once again. Shakib Reza coming in. We have Kazanta already serving his time inside the pit stops here. But then again, yeah. We're seeing yet another pit stop shuffle here. Everyone's driving very, very professionally and calmly. No crazy accidents except that one time when it involved So Byung-eun. Unfortunately, So Byung-eun is back, but he's currently in last.
Yay! He's not gonna. He's a lap down right now, but I'm sure he can make his comeback just like Trayvon will. With the 50-second gap in 13th place. Oh, this race is horrible.
Well, we've seen much more horrible races that one time. But speaking of horrible times, here is Cheon and DuCM coming into the pits. Obviously, both DuCM and Cheon are on different strategies. We have Cheon, who is currently on a. She's currently at the back. DuCM is currently at the front. Now it's going to be a straight-up battle between Nakamura and Jensen, but it looks to me that Jensen might come out on top due to Nakamura's very questionable fuel load that she has at the moment. This is going to be a very weird fuel mileage race.
Wait, what was I going to say again? Hold on, I had something for this.
Tortoise and hair?
Not the tortoise in the hair. Because clearly the tortoise is losing right now. But, wait, well, Miyuki's only in 8th right now. Why didn't they advance position? Like, Goodwin is literally in Sky and Martinez are ahead of Miyuki. How did that happen?
Well, slow pit stops can occur, you know, when you got 6 crew members, well, invisible crew members trying to serve these cars and all that. So there is bound to be errors, like, for example, not properly installing the lug nuts on these 18-inch rim tires and all that stuff. And there can sometimes be mistakes in the fuel and all that stuff. So, you know, the pit crew are all still human, too, and sometimes it happens for you. You can see, if you want to explain why Miyuki is currently down in 8th, that's because the pit crew just
The pit crew, oh my god. So we have a car that's lapped by 17th place right now, I think, right?
Yes, that's Cheon.
What even is like the most lapped car? Well, not the most lapped, sorry.
The driver who's the most laps down.
Not the most laps down, but like just recently got lapped by number 1 Nakamura.
Let me see. If you want to talk about the gaps to the leader, let's take a look here. Looking at the gaps here, we are looking at least. Oh, the numbers are damning. We actually have about 6 cars a lap down at least to the race leader Ari Nakamura, but of course Ari Nakamura may not be leading this race come the final 2 laps. It may just be Sven Jensen all along.
Do you think Young might have the luck now to pull out a blue shell from one of the crate things?
Well, we'll have to wait and see if that's going to be the case. The only driver that is yet to properly pit is actually Mohamed Cashew, currently up in 4th place for the Watamates currently in the field. But let's see how far Cashew can go with his current strategy.
Well, apparently they can't drive very far because they're kind of like what 9 seconds behind Garcia right now. By the way, if Garcia doesn't win this, I'm gonna be really mad.
And right now, Kate Garcia should try her best to try to mount a challenge on Sven Jensen there. We haven't been seeing an outright EN class win or an ID class win in a JP race, especially in this one time, especially this season, where the Ind cars are able to participate This is good. This is gonna be a very, very weird race overall. No matter where you look at it, it's just going to be extremely weird to look at come the end of this race.
To 127.649. Is that the laps we're setting now? Really, Shaki? Really, Shaki? Come on, you're better than this.
Looking into this one, it's mostly just timing tower, Borg, and all that stuff. But then again, if you want to talk about how the younger brother usually gets the short end of the stick compared to the older brother, unfortunately, it has been the case once again. Shadrin Reza will at least still score points at this rate, given that everyone will have enough field to run until the finish. But as for, let's say, the Muhammad Cashew still needs to pit, that might not be the case, because looking at Muhammad Cashew there and Ari Nakamura, they don't have enough fuel to make it till the end. You can see Ari Nakamura, her fuel lap count is only at 12, and Muhammad Cashew is only at 5. You need at least 14 to make it to the finish.
That is somewhat concerning right now. Do you know what else? No, that's just crappy. The leaderboard is crappy. Anyway, Martinez and El Shore are actively going neck and neck right now. That was nasty. Oh my god, I hated looking at that. But right now, Martinez is in 9th place. El Shore keeps their position, I believe. Yuki in 7th, Sky in 6th, Goodwin in 5th, Cashew 4th, Garcia 3rd, Jensen 2nd, Nakamura 1st, and I guess I should finish up the top 10 with Curtis Danto in 10th.
Yep, and also just another bit of a funny information. Maverick DCM is a lap ahead of Muhammad Shazmin Reza, which is interesting.
Oh my god. Yeah, this guy is he's a little goober, isn't he?
And speaking of which, you may think that Ducey and Shazmin Reza are currently in a battle for position, but they're not exactly in a battle for position. Shazmin Reza is exactly a lap down from Maverick DCM, and you know, let alone the all other drivers inside the top 10, Shazmin might still have a long way to go if he does want to get himself into the top 10.
He's not making the top 10. Shut up.
Well, like we mentioned.
Not gonna make it.
Well, as we mentioned.
Make it.
Well, as we mentioned, Yes, I know. That's why I said a long way to go, and that long way might just be a trip from Earth to Pluto, anyways. But anyways, another battle here between El Ashore and Jake Martinez. This time it ends with, well, actually it's just the timing table working once again. It's just, yeah. It's just crazy at the moment. But then again, sometimes you need a bit of chaos. Maybe okay, as you mentioned that Kento Kai was pretty much just there in the Split A race. His effects are actually lingering in Split B, and the fact that he's going to participate the next day in the Honeyworks race makes it even more interesting for Split C.
I don't want to go to Split C. No. That's we've already had the deal with all of this tonight. I'm already sleepy, and there's Split C tomorrow. With how chaotic Split C, everyone's just gonna crash into the wall.
Well,
We're might be 8 pit stops, and someone's gonna crash into the wall.
Well, we actually had a driver crash into the pit wall the last year, actually, if you want to have a bit of a reminder. I believe, I can't remember who, but I think it was a hefty crash that basically caused like one driver to just pile drive into the inside pit wall. I can't say driver's side first because the driver is literally at the center, but left side after a spin. Well, I think it was after they made contact.
We need to bring back the pit lane Grim Reaper, bro. We can't let them keep getting away with pitting so much.
Well, unfortunately, Shango has other ideas, as if you remember what happened in the cancel Sugo Super Prix race in April, not the one in November. The Grim Reaper, the pit lane Grim Reaper actually applied his trade to any driver that comes to the pit lane. If you're lucky, you can be able to get out. And you know, Go was not actually happy about it. I mean, he did win the race in that April race, but he just doesn't want to accept it because he's only winning like against 5 to 6 people.
That race was literally one of the best that the ARO had to offer, and nobody can change my mind. I'm so sorry.
Well, opinions are opinions, but then again, I have my own and you have yours, and I can respect that. Anyways, coming into the final quarter stage of this race to conclude today's racing and to basically set up the idle performances coming up in about 2 hours' time. Ari Nakamura still leads this race for Akai Hato, who isn't even going to perform in the Fifth Fest. Meanwhile, Sven Jensen, however, has been showing a good amounts of potential in this race when in the actual standings in Formula Hololive International, he's been lackluster.
Yeah, just the Iris car itself is just lackluster. It has one of the coolest designs in international FHolo and especially Holo GT3. I actually like the Holo GT3 cars a lot more co-fighting. But just in overall, like, just kind of there, despite the very cool design, I still think ASCII's is better though.
We're talking about both FHolo and Hololive GT3, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I will have to agree a lot on both aspects, especially Hololive GT3. The fact that ASCII has made a manufacturer swap, basically going from, well, a top outfit top swap, basically going from a vest top to a corset top, going from black to white with a strikingly contrasting design, easily makes ASCII's original uniform design one of the best in the original idol uniform lineup, and you can tell why they're in ARO. In the ARO, there's the recurring joke of ASCII Honda swoon. I think you know the explanation already, right?
No, you have to explain it to me word for word in great detail as this race goes on.
Alright, as currently the battle, there's not much battles going on with Ari Nakamura's styles in the race league currently in doubt. We'll have to wait and see if she's able to continue as she does after lap 42. ASCII Honda swoon is basically a joke that has been floating around inside the ARO that is basically swooning for ASCII in the original idol uniform, as in the white, black, and gold thing that has come since ASCII got her visual update on November 2022. We'll pull up the images. We'll see if we can pull up the images, but I don't think that might be happening. But long story short, ASCII Honda swoon is basically swooning for ASCII specifically when she wears the original idol uniforms, which is basically serves as the inspiration for Hololive GT3. Like as we mentioned, striking, contrasting, unprecedented, and all that stuff. That's why people like, honestly me, have a lot of ASCII Honda swoon.
Okay, bud. I got a whole discography, not a discography, but a whole autobiography of a joke I already semi-knew. Okay, yeah, this race is great.
Anyways, Mohamed Kashu now finally comes into the pits after basically serving his best up. And oh, you can see here the way he drifts out of the pits. I'm not gonna lie, that was actually pretty interesting.
Our drivers are interesting. Is this the rookie split?
This is not really the rookie split. This is basically the big boy split. And sometimes when stuff like this happens, you know, it gets very entertaining to watch at. Sometimes when even the best professional drivers can sometimes enjoy their time here in Fuji like this, even in a serious points paying environment. You know, spots in the Suyo Cup are on the line, all that stuff. It's nice to see the drivers still enjoying their time as they are at the moment.
I think half of our drivers are gonna get arrested for driving under the influence, as shown in this whole race.
Well, remember that you can see here, just a bit of a confirmation there. Ahmed El Ashor is also fasting, but due to travel rules, he might not actually be fasting. So that's another can of worms that we should not be opening. So let's just say that some drivers are having a bit of a cuckoo moment. Other drivers are not exactly having too much of a cuckoo moment. But then again, we are currently 35 laps complete in this race, and we still have Ari Nakamura leading proceedings for Akai Hato and all that stuff. The last time Akai Hato car did win in the Aero competitions. That was back in June in the Motegi 400 split A race when previous driver John Mead won for Akai Hato. But it looks to me that Aira Nakamura is going to try to stretch her fuel as much as he can, and if she does manage to get her fuel corrections absolutely right, then we could be seeing Akai Hato's first win in Formula Hololive and Akai Hato's first win in ARO competitions since June 2023.
That is a yay, but on the other hand, if Nakamura doesn't stretch out their fuel, we have Jensen who wins, Garcia takes second, Goodwin takes the third, which, yay, my Neopa. But more importantly, when was the last time the Iris car won anything, actually? I forgot.
Never. Actually, it's never. Actually, in aero competition, the Iris car has never won a race in any capacity in all aero competitions until now, if Nakamura doesn't stretch out her field and Sven Jensen doesn't muck up his the basically final 8 laps.
Hey Jensen, watch out for that wall, bud. Yeah, but more importantly, however, is Nakamura actually stretching out their fuel correctly? Are they gonna make it or nah?
Just wanted to confirm the race fuel monitor is not looking good for Airi Nakamura. She only has 10 liters of fuel to go. That means she'll actually pit at around lap 41. But let's see if she can limit her damages to quite the extent. Because remember, if you want to look at the tires, every time these drivers pit, they also change they didn't just refill their fuel, they changed tires too. So let's say Sven Jensen is unfortunate enough to be blocked by lap cars. Suddenly Nakamura is going to be back in the hunt for at least the battle for the podium positions or a battle for second.
Yay, but yeah, we're gonna have to see where this goes. Apparently, as
you can see here Cheon against Shakib Reza.
I hated that. Please never do that again. But they're side by side right now. Trayvon and Shakib Reza going side by side, taking that corner very nicely, Trayvon. And they just overall just take that that position away from Shakib Reza, I believe.
And there's a bit of a shuffle in the timing towers. That then again, it just happens once again. But anyways, just wanted to get a bit of a chill moment here. You can see your drivers weaving at the front straight here. And also we wanted to pay attention to actually Bahama Casio trying to catch Juanica Stanto.
Which might happen. Straight is, I believe, Casio's environment, right?
Well, he's getting close and closer with his very, very fresh tires. Of course, he is one of the last drivers to actually make a pit stop. So his tires are absolutely very, very grippy. And the tires, at least for Mawakashu, have more life than all of the other all the other tires. So this means that, put simply, Casio is currently faster than Castanto as it is right now.
Goyena did make a very impressive 125 though, so that's something to watch out for now going into the final 5 laps of this race.
Well, over 5 laps to go. We are actually on our final 6th final lap before we conclude the racing for today.
Oh, whatever, buddy. But Garcia doing a 126, which is kind of making the timetable stop doing that. Oh my god, I hate when it does that. 125s across the board. Sky getting a 125.35 which is pretty impressive for this late in the race right now. Ahead of Goodwin this time by quite a bit. Looking at the gaps right now, there's honestly not much to look at except Cashew and Costanto for now.
And right now there might be a battle to look out for. Anyways, look at this. Danilo Goyena now going to try to challenge Mohamed Kashi there. It's going to be a neck-and-neck battle between both the Pecora and Watame representatives. You can see here both of them going neck-and-neck coming into turn 1. You can see who's going to be braking later. Goyena is going to be braking later. Will Cashew try to sneak past Goyena? The answer is going to be somewhat no, as Goyena manages to defend his position, but not before Cashew suddenly says peekaboo, I'm making the dive bomb down the inside, and pushes Goyena offline, and maybe puts Cashew in a position to steal position, but no, Goyena manages to defend his position quite well.
Yeah, truly unfortunate. I hate these timetables so much. Goyana and Kashu, and then I guess Costanto too, kind of in their own world right now. The only people to pay attention to right now, except Sky and Goodwin right now, as Sky is closing in on Goodwin at an alarming rate, so...
So, looking into some of the battles that we're looking at, Sky is still in, I think Sky is still in 4th, no, it's Goodwin currently in 4th, and Sky down in 5th right now. We are now currently over 4 laps to go before we finally put this race to bed. Thank goodness if it was you, but then again, anyways, we're going into Danilo Goyena going on board the number 11 Sara Pecora car, and right now Goyena isn't catching up to Costanto, but meanwhile Mama Cashew might be thinking of a move, but he's too far back.
Yeah, definitely way too far back. This middle pack is getting rather very, very tense right now, to say the least, because basically everyone, these 3 cars hate each other, but they especially hate Costanto because they're ahead of him and will score more points. Actually, can Costanto even score points?
Well, Costanto is in the in spot. Remember, the in-class cars are not eligible to score points, and furthermore, these in-class cars can steal points position away from JP class cars. As a way to, you can see here, Ari Nakamura has finally come into the pits. I told you so.
I told you so. Okay, at least they're at least I'm not a lap down right now behind UCM, so...
And meanwhile, Ari Nakamura is going to be thinking of a defensive move to defend her 3rd place against Jay Goodwin and Kate Garcia. Fortunately, Nakamura is only 10 seconds behind Garcia, but 15 seconds behind Sven Jensen. So a win in for the overall is not going to be possible for Nakamura, but at the very least, she will have the JP class win.
Yay! Hachama wins. Speaking of winning, it seems Sky might have a chance to win a position. Get it? I made a pun there. Because they're fighting right now. Do you know who else is fighting? Goyena and I can't even tell what's going on anymore. But Sky
well,
and Goyena
and Cashew, they were battling. Yeah, they were battling between each other there. Goyena and Cashew, you can see here on the shots coming into turn 1 there recently. Meanwhile, looking into the rest of the field here, Jay Goodwin currently in 5th place trying to catch Ed Sky trying to catch Ari Nakamura, but she's warmed up her tires enough for her to try to mount a last lap gasp against Kate Garcia. Let's see what magic Nakamura can have. Maybe she can steal 2nd right at the line? I don't know.
This race doesn't even make sense anymore, so I wouldn't even doubt it. If you said that, you could say that, like, everyone crashed in it all, and then Yun actually wins the whole race. Easy, and I'd probably believe you.
Well, so given how this race has turned out, I won't be surprised to have you think about that anyways. We're coming into over 2 laps to go here. Sven Jensen again has a pretty calm and comfortable race. Sven Jensen currently in Japan in his heart. Currently, his heart's for Iris. Hope is brimming inside him. Obviously, he has been 2nd best, or rather 18th best in Formula Hololive International up to this point. But if Sven Jensen can score an upset win in front of the JP class cars in the biggest race, one of the biggest races of the ARO racing season, that should give Jensen the impetus to try to keep on going. Sure, he's out of championship contention at this point, but at least he can get something out of it.
Yeah, at least, and maybe for once the Iris car can finally do some work instead of backseating, you know, so...
Anyways, we're coming into the penultimate lap of this race. Iris, Iris is basically an embodiment of hope. If you have hope, Iris probably comes behind. Probably You can probably feel a bit of Iris in you. So right now, Jensen has a lot of hope, given, especially given the circumstances. He knows that there's always light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and that is what Sven Jensen is currently thinking right now. If he just needs to complete this 1.5 lap, or rather 1/3 of a lap to go, for him to secure what has got to be a very, very unlikely win. Speaking of progress, let's take a look here.
Our biggest gainer is Ed Sky, who gained 10 positions, started in 14. Goodwin gained 4, Miyuki gained 4, Jensen gained 5. You know, hope and all that. You know what I hope? I hope Shazzy Reza falls 5 positions, just to make him break even. You know.
But right now, he's also doing very, very well, though, with 5 positions gained, despite starting at the back. I mean, given the context, he's actually doing quite well for Himawari Luna, despite this being his last points-paying race for Himawari Luna. But as for Sven Jensen, he has already confirmed to start his last lap of this race, currently in the lead. It's going to be amazing.
It is not going to be amazing. It's going to suck. And he's gonna crash out on the fight on like Coca-Cola corner or something. I don't know.
Well, unfortunately, Coca-Cola corner has already passed, and currently Sven Jensen is currently still on his way to score what would be his first win in Formula Hololive. Not in a points-paying race, but at the very least, it's still a win regardless. I mean, you could argue that Shazareza only has 3 wins, but he actually has 4 if you count the Holo 27-27. But for Sven Jensen, it's going to be 1 for him regardless of this being an invitational race or not. He still has to race against 17 other cars, and has to race against JP class cars at Fuji Speedway on his first visit. Speaking of which, Sven Jensen comes across the final corner here at Panasonic to start his run into the finish line with a lot of hope. He started this race with a lot of hope. He's gonna convert all of this hope into a race win. Sven Jensen racing for Iris on all the aristocrats watching. He wins the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji Split B race.
He didn't deserve it. That was supposed to go to Allgore. That was Allgore's win, and he threw.
Well, technically, Allgore basically messed up the pit stop thing. So obviously, you can blame the engineer and basically for making the decision for him. I mean, it's the hands of the race engineer on how the strategy would go, and obviously he's gotta have to be filming against the strategist. Anyways, Kate Garcia wins for the ID class, and Irie Nakamura wins for the JP class, and it was gotta be an unprecedented time for aero competitions. An in-class car winning overall in a JP track. Anyways.
Yeah. What you said, dude. I'm so tired. I can't wait for this to be over.
All right, and we're also gonna be checking the last drivers to cross the line. Here's Maverick Duciem. Yu Cheon has already crossed the line. Here's Shakir Reza crossing the line, and once these drivers have crossed the line, it will be over. And with that out of the way, that should be it for the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Split B. Sven Jensen scores his first win for Iris in Formula Hololive with an emphatic win at the CTM Grand Prix at Fuji Split B. Kate Garcia scores her first podium, I believe, for Vesta Zeta. So very much a lot of excitement for her as well. It's gonna be a variety inside the podium position. We have the JP, EN, and ID cars, all of them inside the podium rostrum. Irie Nakamura also in 3rd place and leading the JP class cars for Akai Hato, who isn't even participating in the 5th fest, but has to participate here due to having to compete for points. And this is a very good points day for her. Ed Sky 4th for Kazama Iroha, Jay Goodwin 5th for Okami Mio, Hanari Miyuki 6th for Kobo Kanaeru, Amidala Shore 7th for Kyla Kowalski for Miyuki. She should have probably won this race too. Jake Martinez 8th for Mori Calliope, Giovanni Costanto 9th for Oro Crony, and Mamakashi rounds out the top 10 for Tsunamaki Watami. Also, there's only 4 JP class cars inside the top 10.
Yeah, the JP cars performed a little. They they performed a little under
The radar under.
under the radar. Yeah, that.
Anyways,
They were underperforming a little. We expected them to perform a little bit better.
Anyways, Danilo Goyena, 11 for Usada Pecora, Maverick DCM 12 for Omar Polka, 13th goes to Mawala Shazan Reza in his final race, while final points paying race for him and Mori Luna. He will compete in the Honeyworks race. Hovumi 14 for Tokinozora, Yucheon 15 for Takane Loichi will be taking the final points positions. The last two drivers who will not score points, Shakif Reza for Momosu Nene, Rim Olgor 17 for Ozora Subaru, and Sobyung Un 18th for Shiranui Flare. And with that, Z, I want to hear your post-race thoughts before we go into replays.
That race was so bad. Oh my god. What was going on?
Well, sometimes chaos happens. You can thank Kento Kai and Hako's belts for this. But anyways, we also wanted to take a look into what happened to So Byung-eun on why he basically spun literally in the middle of the race. So if you want to see the explanation here, it is actually a very funny story here, because he was actually battling with another driver, and as you can see here, here's So Byung-eun. He's in a battle with Hanari Miyuki. You know what happens next.
Yeah, we know. Yeah, he just gets pushed around.
And
Man.
yeah, it's a very, very... Here's Hanari Miyuki is on board.
Alright, let's see what's going on. Just kinda... I don't even know what they were doing there.
I mean, she thought that there was space to basically still get close to Byung-eun, but obviously she misjudged it.
It was kind of just a bit of a it was miscoordination. It was not it wasn't intentional. It wasn't intentional.
Well, yeah, we can officially confirm that this is a racing incident, so we can just leave it at that. So with that out of the way, before we end the stream altogether, just wanted to share with you the split B standings, well, at least those who competed in this race at the very least. So we have confirmation on the racing order. Just wanted to confirm that Ari Nakamura does have the fastest lap of this race so far. And so let's take a look back into the championship standings for split B as we're about to end the stream. Anyways, here it is. Just wanted to show you Rim Olgor. Still okay. The leaderboard is still broken, but we can say for sure that Ari Nakamura has taken the championship lead in Split B, unless the Split C drivers have something to say about it. There will be calculations that will be made post-stream that will be done. It will be posted on both YouTube and Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I think that should be it for today's stream. I hope everyone has enjoyed this Fifth Fest races at Fuji Speedway, the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji Splits A and B. I hope you enjoyed as much as I do, even if the racing can get very, very iffy at times. But anyways, everyone has their own opinions, and we hope everyone here has theirs as well. We hope everyone is also able to tune in to tomorrow's Honeyworks Invitational and Capture the Moment Grand Prix Split B race coming up tomorrow at the same time as we're going to start. I'm Momoshida Reza in the commentary booth, and alongside me is Zeke Wimberly and Sean Go at one point. And you've been watching the Capture the Moment Grand Prix at Fuji Splits A and B races. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.